Alright, everyone, I'm Warlock, and this is ESL Eternal Super League Week 4. Welcome, everyone. You can see on your screens right now the standings for week 3, rather, going into week 4. We have OF 1515 at 18 points, so it's 6-0, currently sitting undefeated, and a few players catching up. Good for everyone except for OF right now. Is that OF has a week bye right now, so he's not gonna be playing any games. So it's the perfect week for their competitors to try to catch up. I have some amazing games to show you later today, and I have two great people here with me to help me commentate. I have Anarcho Mushroom and Dungeon Mixer. Say hi, friends. How is it going?
Hello, I'm Dungeon Mixer. You might recognize me from such places as ESL.
Hello, I'm Anarcho. I've been doing this before. Yeah, it's always great to jump into the booth. I'm looking forward to these games. First week of Phase 2, which is really exciting. We'll get to see the new IDs and decks that people have brought now that they're able to change their deck lists, see if people try to target the meta in any way. And yeah, I'm really look forward to seeing some Eternal and seeing as well what people can do in terms of the leaderboard with Off 15. Obviously, having a break week, can Toron and Jai make up a little bit of that ground. Yeah, very, very excited.
Yes, absolutely. As Anarcho said, we are in week 4, which means we are starting phase 2. And so all the players have finally had their first chance of two to mix up their deck, redesign their decks, change their IDs, change their cards they're playing. They are doing this knowing exactly what their opponents brought in for the first phase, but obviously everybody has a chance to switch it up and change what they're playing. Let's see our ID breakdown for phase 1, but for phase 2 rather. But first, I want to remind you we had a phase 1 filled with Nebula on the corp side. Almost, I think, half of the players brought in Nebula, and on the other side we had people playing a lot of Kabonesa Wu. We had 3 combo Wu, as people have been calling it, and 1 World Tree Wu. And so let's see how people decided to switch up their IDs to tech against these two very big matchups. It is on your screen. So what do you two think about this phase 2 ID breakdown? Lots of different IDs, a lot less Kabonesa Wu, a lot of very different corps, and 4 Andromedas. What are your two takes on this new on this phase 2 ID breakdown?
So I have to say, like immediately, I know from like when Night from Chess and I were planning what we were going to be doing this week. I think Andy is a really strong deck into Nebula, and obviously with the amount of Nebula that we saw in Phase 1, Andy feels like a really good choice. You've got Aaron Moran and a lot of tools to deal with the tags. But then at the same time, we were also building our decks thinking, how do we beat Combo Woo? Which means that we weren't thinking about Nebula. And I think that's what's happened here, is that the corps are all sort of swapping around to deal with the runners from last time, and the runners are swapping around to deal with the corps from last time. And it's sort of come to a bit of a weird middle ground.
Yeah, I think you kind of speak to it there with Nebula being so popular. Andy, the thing with Andy is I've played a lot of Andy in Eternal, and Andy is a very, very good deck if you know what to tech for. So if you are going into a known metagame, which obviously the Eternal Super League somewhat is, you can make very good educated guesses. You can tailor your Andy deck to beat kind of almost everything in the field. Um, so yeah, I think the switch to Andy makes a lot of sense. The corp breakdown I think is really interesting. A lot of different diversity. There's the sports medal and personal evolution, which I think is really, really interesting. PE, if it's a kind of a trappy PE deck with a lot of net damage, and you'll see this as well with IG, those decks are really, really good at beating combo Woo because you're constantly hitting combo pieces. I know back when the Infinite Credit, the Hacker Hall of Fame Woo deck was legal for the brief period of time where that was legal. IG was one of the few bad matchups for that deck because just bladderworts and bioethics and hostile infrastructures are just really hard for that corp to deal with because you don't really have time to go and deal with assets. If you start trying to contest the board as a combo deck and not actually try and combo out, you're going to put yourself in the back foot. So I think the switch to IG makes a lot of sense to try and tackle combo woo. Same with personal evolution. The drop off in Nebula is pretty significant. I don't think it means that the deck is particularly bad. I just think it's been targeted so much. And yeah, I'm just really, really interested. Also, seeing Kabonesa Woo as well, dive as well. I think the combo Woo deck was good into Nebula. So I'm a little bit surprised to see it completely vanish, more or less.
Like, I know from my perspective and from Jess's perspective as well, like, because everyone has to tech against Woo in this phase 2, right? Because otherwise you run the risk of losing turn 3. And the thing is, if people are even remotely teching against you, you might as well just not play the deck. So it's got this like weird little mind game of, do you say no one will tech against it because if people are teching against it, no one plays it, so there's no point teching against it? Or do you not play it because if someone techs against it, you're just going to lose that game?
Yeah, and this is kind of the dynamic that you end up with in Eternal Super League, where you are kind of playing the level 1 and level 2 meta of like, okay, well, I know that we need to tech for this deck, but now so we're going to play this instead. But then do you tech for the tech, and does that make you weaker than the original best deck? So yeah, I think it's really interesting development. I think a lot of the choices make sense. I'm excited to see some of these decks. I can't wait to see Personal Evolution and Sports Metal. They're both decks we haven't seen before in Eternal Super League. I think the same for Arisana. We haven't seen Arisana in ESL yet. So yeah, big excited for this phase and see how it progresses.
Wonderful.
I will see, yeah.
I just want to mention for people who ask in chat, and that's absolutely a fair question, these decks have been locked in by our players before they saw the most recent point change. There's been a change in points for Eternal about, I think, Wednesday this week. All of these decks have been locked in earlier than that, and people started already playing their games before that. So what you see in Phase 2 is somewhat of a old meta, I want to say, maybe, or using at least points are somewhat dated. We'll see what happens in Phase 3, but for Phase 2, we still have the 25.7, I think, point list update for Eternal. Alrighty, I think we're ready to jump into Game 1. We'll start with the first matchup, which is Asempress playing against CD-Row. And I'll let you two take the wheel here, and I'll just listen to you and let the stream enjoy the games and your commentary. Take it away.
Thank you, Warlock. Yeah, so I guess we'll just dive straight into the game here.
But here's that brand new Arisana that we're excited to see what it's doing.
Yeah, so we're diving right in, brand new Arisana. So this looks, just from opening hands here, this looks kind of value. It doesn't look like it's trying to do any kind of combo stuff. Indexing isn't really a combo piece. It's just kind of like a generic shaper pressure tool. So yeah, I'm very interested to see how this Arisana deck goes, and obviously Mezzi. Interesting little matchup here where you're both kind of playing around with different installs during the run. So I'm very interested to see how these two decks fare.
Arisana definitely feels like an interesting and possibly strong matchup into Mezzi, just because you can't be surprised in the same way that a lot of other runners can be as Mezzi suddenly throws something out in front of you.
Exactly, yeah. You have this sort of natural defense as Arisana, as the runner, that you can run relatively safely. The decks kind of counter each other very, very nicely. So we see here Asempress just taking it easy, drawing up. Mezzi draw, hedge, install what could be something like a Rashida in the remote. Obviously no ice protecting it because you don't need any ice protecting it. And opting not to block the trick shot. Obviously, I think probably wanting to save and protect whatever's in server 1.
Maybe, and like we're relatively safe to quite a lot of ice in this hand. We've got Hush, which we can Hush and Anansi to only take 1 damage. Is that an Excalibur?
That is an Excalibur. That's a classic Mezzi ice right there. Really
Iconic.
annoying one to surprise the runner with.
Now that is one that, I mean, I suppose Slap Vandal deals with very handily, actually.
Yeah, it's you have tools at Arisana to deal with it. You have the Slap Vandal. We see a Tributary now getting flashed in by the Mezzi. This isn't.
I think you can just let that fire, probably.
You can probably just let this fire. It's not really doing anything. You do want to be careful about letting the Mezzi board build up off of the free installs. Sorry, but excuse me.
Yeah, I do wonder if you hush this just to like deactivate it for the remainder of the game, essentially. But then you're I feel like that hush really wants to be used on a Nancy or something similar.
Yeah, there's an interesting question here now that Ace Empress needs to consider is are we going to see the hush go on this Tributary to kind of nullify it a bit or at least force an overinstall? And I think, yeah, Ace Empress is deciding to go with that, putting that hush down. So these Subroutines will fire, but now that Tributary is staying in place and it's kind of in the worst possible place. On the direct innermost of the remote, it's not a great place for it because of how you ideally want it to be kind of on the outermost. You want it to be able to like obviously change position a lot. So
I mean, at the very least, we're in Mezzi, so it's only going to be on the innermost for a little bit.
That is very true. It is gonna get fixed itself, but not being able to move, like that's sort of 90% of the power of Tributary is it being able to move around with the runner.
Oh.
We did see a Rashida in the remote, so kind of as expected, Mezzi trying to try and push this through this early tempo tool. And we see CD just drawing up, probably looking for another Rashida or maybe something like a Charlotte and La Costa. Obviously, that's given that deck a huge boost in the last sort of 12 to 18 months or so.
Oh, yeah.
But just going to money up.
Okay. I'm assuming that's what sort of Ace Empress is hoping for here as well, because there's not a lot of cash currently in this hand or any immediate way to grab cash.
Yeah, you're not woo. You can't do something like fetch a Coalescence from your deck for that instant little sort of credit burst. We do see a DDoS in hand from Ace Empress. That is a very, very spicy include. So I kind of wonder, is there a little bit of a combo element? If you see DDoS in a deck, that is a pretty that's a pretty telling sign that you're kind of up to no good to some degree.
So we've got it's trying to piece together like DDoS. I mean, DDoS is a great card, but I don't know if you include it just for value because it's
no.
How many points is DDoS?
DDoS is currently 2, I believe.
2 points.
So it's a pretty significant part of your point spend, yeah.
Yeah. Maybe this is like the natural sort of conclusion of the sort of trick shot deep dive shaper of the sort of 2024 meta.
Yeah, like this does just look like it actually doesn't look too dissimilar to something like the Arisana deck that won Worlds in 2024. It just looks to play sort of very good, high value, high powered shaper run events. Okay, we do have a hyperdriver in the deck.
Okay.
So not quite sure if that is again part of a combo or if it is just, you know, the honest hyperdriver where it's a delayed extra 3, you know, extra installs or extra draws.
I mean, we can see a hyperdriver here, a deep dive, and a DDoS, and that to me feels like a very effective way of pulling off a deep dive.
Yeah, the deep dive also. I forgot to mention the deep dive. Yeah, indexing as well is a funny little one to include. It's a good sort of it's good disruption. It lets you slow down the corp while you're setting up your DDoS. Your deep dive. And yeah, DDoS hyperdriver is just a really efficient way. Now, Mezzi is probably the deck that's able to beat DDoS the most. But it's still really frustrating if, for example, you have a bunch of uniced servers. So it is asking Mezzi to spend some clicks installing ice. But we have an advance. Is this going to be a Regenesis? It is a Regenesis.
Oh, nice. We've got Regenesis Mezzi rather than sort of the Nisei Mark II Mezzi.
Yeah, I think the Regenesis decks have proven to just be slightly better. It gives you, obviously, you naturally get to protect archives, so you can kind of toss agendas away relatively safely. And Regenesis does let you just win the game an awful lot quicker and present actual threats in the remote, which is something that Mezzi struggles to do. It's a very honest deck. Mezzi, in terms of internal, it doesn't feel right saying Mezzi is an honest deck, but in the Eternal metagame, it is 100% an honest deck.
100%.
We see Excalibur here on R&D, but this is going to get taken care of by the Slap Vandal pretty nice. And you don't really need to worry now about much other... I guess you have to worry about Cortex Lock, but you'll take 2 damage here. It's not the end of the world.
We've got a few ways of dealing with things. Like the symbol chip can trash the Slap Vandal and bring the Slap Vandal back out if we have a single subroutine.
Right. Yeah.
Ice come out. We've got a few ways of managing whatever this is.
Let me see, an Engram Flush. So what is CD-Row going to mention? CD-Row mentions program. That is a complete whiff, unfortunately.
Oh, yeah.
That is 2 credits, do nothing on a piece of ice, unfortunately, is the downside of Engram Flushes. Sometimes it just does that to you.
Yeah, and like against Shaper, I think program, especially Arisana, where like you're expecting to hold a bunch of Trojans in hand. Whereas Ace Empress here, fair hand is just all sort of gas, no Trojans right now.
No, yeah. It's not the most Arisana friendly hand, that is for certain. So we are going to have a look at this indexing. This is not a bad indexing.
So there's an Obicata that we cannot steal unless we draw a card. We've got, I think there was a Nisei in there, Caprice.
There was a Caprice in there, Cyberdex Virus Suite. There was a Rashida as well. So Ace Empress is going to give CD-Row this Obicata protocol and just sort of say, you can draw this, you're not in a position to score it, and I will come find it at my leisure at some point. If I really need to, I'll drop the DDoS and run HQ if I think it's in there and try and sniff it out. So really good indexing there. I think Ace Empress now in a very, very stable position. We see a Swordsman in HQ. That's something to be worried about if you're relying on Slap Vandal. And going for the deep dive.
So we still only see the Obicata. We do have an additional click, so I wonder if it's worth, like, we don't have the credits to trash the Caprice, though, do we? How many is Caprice to trash?
Caprice is 1 to trash, so we can trash the Caprice.
It might be worth taking that additional access to trash that Caprice, but because that's
I think you're not, unless you're banking on CD-Row putting the Caprice on the remote or on centrals. I think you're happy to just ignore it, let him have the upgrade for the scoring remote, and yeah, just let him have it. You spend your click to draw, set up for your next deep dive, because I think there was a second deep dive in hand, so you're going to want to find that next one, because I don't think you're going to be busting the remote anytime soon.
No. Oh, there's a film critic. That would have been helpful a turn ago. It's always
that would have been very, very good last turn. But there was a scarcity in play from the Mezzi. So Film Critic, when you're spending 3 credits to install it, is not as good as Film Critic for 1, unfortunately.
No.
So just
not many things are as good as Film Critic for 1, to be fair.
Yeah. So just going to draw up and play the Film Critic. CD-Row still in a pretty good position here. You know, he can, if he has like a decent piece of ice he can Mezzi out onto the scoring remote. He has a really good position here to try and close out this game. We're seeing double install on the remote, so I'm guessing.
So we're only on 5 credits, so we've got ability to push out Size and Tan. We can't Resonant Nancy.
No.
Which is always a shame.
I think the best ice that you could have in HQ right now is a Tatubola.
Yeah.
And we're going to see Ace Empress. So Fair is charging into the remote. No clicks left. Only 1 credit. There is a Simul chip, so we can do some install shenanigans if needs be. But Fair just going to charge straight through. Let the tributary fire. Does not matter. I do think you need to be a little bit careful of this.
Yeah. I mean, we can, if it's a size and turn, we can hush it at the very least
Yeah,
with single chip. But okay.
there's the Tachybola. Big question, yeah, if you're going to go for it. I don't know that I love this just because what the Corp will do now is just bounce will do the swap. I mean, you'll lose your Slap Vandal. So you lose a pressure tool, a braking tool. There's a Manningham Skunkworks, and there's a Jackson.
Yeah, and now Ace Empress is on no credits, and Sidera is getting closer and closer to dangerous credits for ice reses.
Yeah, that was an unfortunate run for Ace Empress to go down to no credits, and unfortunately not see an agenda in the remotes. It was good bluff by CD-Row. And now at this point, all that he's probably looking for now is just that winning agenda. Maybe try and push through another Regenesis play, or just install Advanced and Obokata Protocol. I don't think Ace Empress is in a position right now to contest an Obokata. I guess it's the film critic, obviously, but you know, right now, not really in a position to contest any kind of a scoring remote with only an SMC, a Simul chip, and a propeller in hand. In theory, it'd be very, very good, but yeah, 0 credits.
Zero credits. I think for me, if I was Sidera here, I think resing that Jackson and just aggressively drawing for an agenda to jam as fast as possible might just be
and
the
you're
right
pretty
choice.
happy overdrawing. If you draw into a Regenesis plus another agenda, you can just toss away the other agenda, install Regenesis into the remote, and then you have I guess you'd have to give us the Spin Doctor in that instance, or not Spin Doctor. God, it's been too long. You'd have to give up the Jackson in that instance, but I think you're fine just pushing here. This is a huge window now to try and push through for the win. So, yeah, very interesting to see what CD-Row decides to do here. Now that he has a little bit of breathing room.
Yeah, we see him start to draw with that Jackson, and evidently making decisions based on what's come up.
Seeing the players just take a little bit of time to think through. Obviously, in Eternal, you have very few clicks in Eternal. You don't. You have very few clicks in Eternal. Each one matters quite a lot. We're seeing another upgrade go into the remote. So it's not getting pre-resed. I kind of wonder if maybe you do just pre-res it because of the interdiction. You're not, if it's a Caprice, you're not really losing anything by pre-resing. Ace Empress knows that it's an upgrade in the remote. The upgrades are likely they can only be kind of one of two things, either an Anoatic / Nisei or a Cyberdex Virus Suite. I guess if it's a Cyberdex Virus Suite, you don't really care about.
Yeah.
You don't really
we're not
want.
really worried about.
Yeah, you don't need to dip to 3 credits. And I guess actually if Ace Empress is on 0, fair, not like challenging that remote at any point. So you actually don't need to worry about it.
Okay. Shuffling Hedge Fund Rashida and another card. So that we're getting ready for this to go a little bit longer. That is what I'm reading from that. But we don't think it's over just yet.
Yeah, it does look like there wasn't an agenda found, which if you're CD-Row, you're probably pretty annoyed about because this is kind of the perfect opportunity to push an agenda. I don't know if he's on something like a Hansei to set up Regenesis plays, but we're seeing an install advance. There's a Hansei, so there's kind of exactly enough credits now for an Anoetic Fire and an Ice Res to potentially then also score out a Regenesis. Ace Empress popping a Hyperdriver, ritualing now. We've seen this out of combo, but this looks like it's just for value. And we're seeing Hot Pursuit in hand. That's kind of the best card that Ace Empress could have possibly hoped for.
Yeah, but you got to make that run successful. So, and here, HQ isn't exactly where CD-Row wants to be protecting, but we know there's a Tachybola in hand.
That's true.
And
unless
it's not difficult to throw one out.
Finding a future perfect.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Well, this is good.
This is very good. I wonder, did CD-Row toss the Tatubola? Was that one of the cards that he discarded to hand size? Because surely if you have Tatubola in hand, this is the prime opportunity to flash it out.
You really want Ace Empress to be unable to financially recover.
Yes.
The Film Critic does so much damage to the agenda suite in Mati.
I wonder, can Ace Empress deep dive here? I think Ace Empress can deep dive. You don't care about the Excalibur subroutine. You can flash in a symbol chip and get Euler. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The deep dive is 2. So yeah, Ace Empress could, if Faye wanted to, go for the deep dive here. I guess the question is, what are they instead going to try and just, or are they instead, or is Ace Empress going to just try and find the agenda and then pop the film critic? Or Faye's hovering over archives, so I think we're going to be seeing another deep dive and just try and dive out and hope, you can't regenesis if I run archives, and then next turn I can just click film critic and win the game.
I think with that film critic, you know what I'm saying. Think that, and like you can easily they can easily steal a overcarter because plenty of cards in hand. We know there's Regenesis is about. Probably one more in the deck. So like I love it. I could go for it. Just try and win. I think that's
go for it. It looks like
in server 1. So I think just absolutely gun it.
So no agendas in archives, so not a Regenesis. So yeah, that is more than likely a Charlotte in server 1. The only issue you're going to have here is you are going to float a tag, so CD-Row can trash the film critic, but at that point you can just keep hammering archives over and over again and just vamp them.
True.
Just seeing the players check. Ace Empress wants to check fair list. Obviously, deck lists are open to players to each other, but a little bit of good camaraderie and sportspersonship here. And yeah, I think Ace Empress just looking to see what the not the symbol chip, the SMC options are. There was an Euler in the deck, so I think that is more than likely the option here.
Interesting.
Trashing the hush.
Oh, so we're musing to hush the Engram before we encounter it. So that all it does is reveal our hand.
Goddamn shapers.
That's a pro gamer move.
That is a pro gamer move. The time for
I love that.
Works how I think
it's because as long as you do it before the encounter, the on-encounter effect doesn't happen. Then that's a wonderful piece of ice that just lets you look at the hand twice.
I think so. Has Ace Empress encountered the Engram at this point?
Yes. I think Ace Empress didn't do it in the right window.
I don't actually think it matters because all it's going to do is reveal the grip. I don't know if that information is like stored by the game.
I need to check the exact wording on Engram Flash.
Okay, JNet's letting it happen, so okay, we're gonna see now. Ace Empress won't have an extra click, so there won't be a double deep dive. We're seeing the Mezzi install here. This is a Tatubola, so no Arisana available, no Simmel chip. There's nothing can break this, so yeah, Ace Empress is just gonna let this happen. So the deep dive is stuffed for now. Ace Emperor's just going to gain a credit. I think I would have cleared the tag there maybe, just so that you can hang on to this future perfect.
Yeah, because you don't want to be slamming your face into archive 7 times trying to pick it back up again.
Yeah, it's
We've all been there. It's painful.
it is nice to be able to just run archives and bid 0 and force the corp to get econ warfared over and over again.
Oh, I think this might just be the winning agenda. That's a Lacosta res with an advanced
yeah,
glory on the card.
This looks like the winning 5-3, and there we go. The winning 5-3 in their mode. It wasn't the Charlotte. Cedro finding the agenda, going for the push. Well done to both players. Well done to Cedro for picking up the win. Yeah, I think Ace Emperor's going for that. I think going for the deep dive makes a lot of sense there.
I think, unfortunately, they were just a little bit short on clicks. And I mean, that's just the way it is, unfortunately. Hyperdrive can only give you so much.
Yeah,
we were on 0 credits at the beginning of the turn.
You would have loved to have like a simul chip or something to, to get a propeller down or to get the slap Lando back out of I was about to say out of the graveyard, out of heap there to deal with the Tatubola and force through the deep dive and the next turn. But I guess it wouldn't have mattered next turn because Cedro was just going to score the agenda anyway. So yeah, if you call if you call that it is an agenda in the remote, then yeah, I think going for the dive there makes a lot of sense. But well done to both players. Well done to Cedro for picking up the win. Great to see Deep Dive Arisana. I know that's a deck that Bauer and Wu has been a big proponent of for a long time. So really cool to see it get some reps in the league for the first time. I think let's move on to game 2. Let's see the reverse of this.
Okay.
So we are seeing Andromeda into Nebula.
So yeah, I think this really for Sidero on Andy here, it's how fast can he get an Aaron run down, because that will really impact Andy's weight in this matchup, because turn 1 scarcity always painful, but crowdfunding gets around that pretty neatly.
Yeah, so crowdfunding is very annoying. Having the Citadel Sanctuary in hand, we did see that this was a mulligan, but this is kind of, I think, one of the best hands that you could possibly mulligan into. You can get down the Amakua, Deuce's Wild then to expose the ice on HQ and get a counter, get 2 counters actually. You do need to be careful about Employee Strike. You can permanently quote unquote keep the corp locked as the gain a click side. Obviously it'll still be blank, but it means that when the E strike eventually clears, they will have the click gaining side. So there's a funny little interaction there. But yeah, we're gonna see the Amakua come down, Deuce's Wild exposing. We see a Data Raven on HQ. There's a 24/7. That's a scary card.
That is. I'd love. I feel like if I was Sidero here, I'd really love a way to instant speed shuffle that deck. That is not what you want to see.
I think.
I think I want to make 2 more runs here, discard the 2 crowdfundings, and just set up economically.
Yeah. So.
And it looks like, yeah.
Yeah, so I think Cedro is just going to take the runs. I think there's an argument there to play the cupulation and take the 24/7. I guess it makes your odds of getting really blown out by hard-hitting news worse. I mean, you're probably getting blown out by hard-hitting news here anyway. But it's a bit better to have crowdfundings ticking when you're swimming in tags. We're seeing Ace Empress just digging, probably looking for that HHN. YDL, recently pointed YDL. Just
don't
bumping
remind
up
me.
the credits.
My poor CI.
We won't be hearing pining for CI in this house. Let me tell you that much for nothing. It's had it good for far too long.
That's very true.
So CD-ROW now, a couple options here. I think getting this compilation down, this, like, you're against a combo deck. Getting compilation down and trying to cup some of the combo targets seems like the best option. Just to try and get a little bit of disruption. Seeing the hovering over the employee strike, I guess the employee strike does clear this current. I think here though, I think you're happy to just kind of draw, maybe try and find some economy, but no, just go for the E strike into class act.
I can see this. I think trying to draw for the pieces of the deck that you really need to survive this matchup, and like class act's going to give you a real hefty draw and help your draws afterwards.
Yeah, and we see here we've got Gamble, Citadel Sanctuary, found a Rebirth as well. So you're Andy, you're playing into Nebula. What's your Rebirth target du jour? What's your choice?
Oh, that's a tricky one.
If you're in CD-ROW,
so Nebula's going to score lots of small genders. So I think going into, what's she called? Turn into Hermes.
Turn into Hermes. This Zoomer talk over here. Put some respect on Leela's name, god damn it.
Leela, that's the one. Look, I started Netrunner in 2023.
Kids these days.
I know, no respect for their
no respect for their heritage. We see Ace Empress here just installing 2 new remotes. I think drawing a card and then installing 2 remotes. CD-ROW from the past very handily, knowing we were going to be asking about this and scrolling up in the chat log. But yeah, drawing up, installing 2 cards, installing 2 new remotes. Could be Rashida's, could be an agenda push here as well. I wouldn't be surprised as well if there was a Behold hiding about. I think if I'm CD-ROW here, I think I kind of like rebirthing and just checking these remotes. Because you can get rid of this Data Raven on HQ, then suddenly your aggression, you're able to play a lot more aggressively, and you start to like transfer and siphon the corp down. But we find a Rashida. Let's see, we're going to just go for check. I think you can just check server 4. I think you're pretty safe, but no, opting to go for the slightly safer line and just gamble. If this is an Astra script, then I think you're in a little bit of a problem. We don't see a pre-start of turn res, so yeah, it's advance. Is this Astro? It is.
It is. Oh, I do wonder, like, obviously you've got Rebirth here. It's not out yet, so you can't do it yet. But with this sort of matchup where they're trying to get like about 2 tags on you to win the game or just score out, I do wonder if the new Crim ID does anything as a Rebirth target in terms of this sort of a matchup.
I think that there's an argument for it. It does make clearing tags easier. It makes your siphons a lot, like clearing tags off siphons, a lot more of a value positive. A value positive option. We see here an illumination getting drawn, so this looks very similar to. I know Mezzi was playing a like Snitch Zamba engine. This looks more like Reg Andy that happens to be playing some copies of Illumination for the extra speed, which I think is very, very strong. It's a little bit late, but even just being able to get down the Compilation, the Citadel, the Desperado for cheap is really, really strong.
We keep not playing the Rebirth, and it's just paining me. I want to touch that Rebirth. Like,
I'm really curious as to what the hold off on the Rebirth is. Going for like, if you rip an agenda here, that's 2 Leela triggers that you've missed out on potentially.
Yeah.
Thinking about the compilation here for petty cash, I think you're going for the petty cash here.
We're maybe just going to try and sweep HQ to deal with. I mean, we have the click to remove the tag. To be fair,
we've also got Citadel Sanctuary.
Oh, we have Citadel Sank. Yeah, I mean, we might end up taking another tag running HQ because there's definitely a Tomorrow's Headline in this deck somewhere.
So just going to break through the Data Raven. The Data Raven is not And yeah, going for it. There's an Astra script.
Oh,
There's an
Ooh.
HHN. And there's a breaking news. 2 big hits.
Then we'll go see a new card because we stole the top card of the deck. I think you can
That's
trash
just
this.
a
You have
standard
plenty of money to beat the trace on HHN. Like, oh, we get crowdfundings back as well.
So this turn ended up going really well for CD-ROW. This is stealing 2. This is a deck that really cares about its agendas. Nebula really likes to chain Astros together. It likes to have access to them for either scoring out or for cool breaking news plays. It wants its copies of breaking news. Now, losing one of each, not the end of the world. But definitely not a position that Ace Empress would have liked to have been in. And with a big Amakua as well and a Citadel Sanctuary, a lot of the ice isn't really going to do a whole lot at this point. And also a crucial element of the last turn, both crowdfundings came back because 3 runs were made. So hugely valuable turn for CD-ROW.
Yeah, I think there's a chance that, like, if we can just tag storm Andy enough here that we can just overwhelm. Because we still haven't seen Is that a career fair? Okay, that's a fun choice.
That is a career fair. Yeah, Andy plays a lot of like expensive resources. So you have class acts. You're also on Blue Mooses and Earthrise hotels. So career fair actually comes in handy quite a good bit. And then if you do Blue Moose, it ends up being like a 5 credit card, which is
that is nice.
Very nice. Finally seeing the rebirth down, hovering suspiciously not over Leela. So I'm very curious. Oh, here we go.
I could maybe see a 419 for just real greed with Amaka, but I don't think it's correct unless you're playing the full exposed package.
Yeah, I think I'm trying to go for Steve. Interesting. Okay.
Do we have 2 pairs of the same card in the heap right now? I can't remember.
There's Gamble.
To have that, but
yeah. So you have Deuces Wild and Gamble.
Sure. Okay.
Just gonna access a Hurting News. I think he's draw up here. I'm surprised not going for the Leela.
Because, like, yeah. Oh, look there. IP block. Okay.
IP block.
I mean,
very
that's
annoying.
Really annoying with Amaka.
Yeah, that's a frustrating one. CD-ROW going for archives now. There's a tomorrow's headline in here. Mercifully, there isn't.
Okay,
yeah, I'm gonna say if there's a tomorrow's headline in there, that would be really bad. And there's an Aaron Moran. Huge card in this matchup.
Yeah, that's at that point, unless you can just Astro Script chain out, which one of the Astro Scripts has been stolen now, it's going to be really tricky to slip out from this deck. Yeah. And I think this matchup here and like what we're watching is I think part of the reason why we're seeing four Andys in this phase, because it's just got the tools to deal with Nebula in a way that even the other Crim IDs don't. Because I mean, you can play Geist. Geist should have a really strong matchup in terms of being able to instant speed draw cards to deal with Boom. But the thing is that turn 1 scarcity, I know it's happened to me enough times that I just can't stomach playing Geist.
Yeah, if you get hit with the scarcity, it's a really rough time for you. And yeah, I think that the big thing that Andy has is Andy has access to possibly one of the best card pools in Eternal. And again, if you know the meta, like we were saying at the pre-show, if you know what the meta is, and you can make those calls on what you need to pack for tech-wise, you can you have good matchups into basically everything. We're seeing just getting the sure gamble back, staying credit positive, no chance of a hard-hitting news coming at any point.
No, and like so long as we can stay credit above the Nebula deck, like Ace Empress, they can't land a hard-hitting news. No. So we can stay above those tags.
So now we've had the purge. What a crowdfunding draw, though. Finding the paper clips of that means so now the IP block that would have kept CD-Row out completely from R&D and stopped the Amakua counters getting ahead. Now CD-Row could just slam down the paperclip, and you see him looking up IP block in the chat there. He can now just slam paperclip, get through R&D, float the tag, clear it with Citadel Sanctuary, and start that train all over again.
Okay, we're on
This is kind of just the power of Andy, is that she has access to all of these tools. She has access to really good money. Yeah, this is a very. It looks on the surface a little bit ropey, but these draws have just been really good. When you draw, when your deck is all gas, you just draw all gas.
Oh yeah. So what's our point spend here? So we've got employee strike, transfer, crowdfunding, Amakua.
Amakua is a point. Aaron's a point.
Yeah.
Transfer is a point.
Transfer is a point, yeah. Employee
strike is 2.
2. So that's 2, 5.
Oh, and then crowdfunding is 2 points. So I think we've seen all 7 points.
Okay. Yeah. So we are not running Siphon, which is always a shame because it's such a hefty thing for Nebula to deal with. Just getting siphoned into the ground repeatedly. But I think we're doing okay anyway.
The other aspect as well is that obviously the players know who they're playing in phase 2, so you can kind of make these very educated calls. If you expect that you're going to be playing, say, 2 Nebula decks and 1, we'll say, CI deck, or 2 Nebula and whatever, IG, for example, where Siphon isn't as good, you can kind of afford to. We're seeing the Amakua, pardon my interruption of my own thought, Amakua getting trashed there.
So I think that's to dodge the tag off the IP block.
I guess, but like Amakua is such a good breaking tool. Like it is one-stop shop.
It's true. We do have a spare one in hand, but I mean, right now, Paperclip's doing a lot of heavy lifting for us. Maybe that's the idea, is with Boomerang and Paperclip, we can get through this board.
I guess, yeah, I think
it's possibly slightly greedy. I think we could have probably just, I mean, we have a Citadel Sank. We probably could have just taken that tag and said, well, you know.
Well, this is it. Like once you've Citadel Sanctuary, these kind of random tags that you end up getting stuck with just stop meaning anything massively significant because the cost to clear them is so light.
Now, if we transfer here, we take 2 tags, one of the transfer, one of the Data Raven, which like is fine because 1 tag doesn't do a whole lot in this matchup.
But if Ace ends up trashing the Citadel Sanctuary, then you're kind of in a ropey spot because Citadel Sanctuary just covers so much in this matchup. It covers the tags, then it also covers the boom as well. Paying manually through, okay.
Yeah.
I guess you do get your crowdfundings back by doing this. So I guess you're valuing the crowdfunding value, or valuing the crowdfundings and getting them back. So going to 6 is still pretty good. Like you're not getting hard hitting news. You still have a significant credit differential, but
what do you cut out of this hand?
You get rid of the mutual favor, I think.
Yeah, considering he's hovering over that boomer. Okay, sure.
Sure, yeah, okay.
Yeah, maybe the plan here is to search for what's Data Raven, a Sentry, I assume.
It's a Sentry, yeah. So so if the deck is on Book Altar, which more 99% it is, Book Altar breaks Data Raven for 2 credits, which is pretty good.
Oh yeah, but now the only server we can safely get into I mean, you can just play mutual favor without a run. It always feels wrong, but you can do it technically.
Listen, we used to do that for 1. We used to pay 1 credit to that privilege when it was special order. Having a black screen of okay, CD-Row. I think I had a small disconnection there. So going for the Deuce is wild. Maybe looking to get some information, or are we just going to see a build script? No. We're going for the information. We're going to go see the expose.
Feels sad to be doing that with no Amakura on the table. It's still a good thing. Like, information is powerful, but I'm always
it's very good. Like, you're getting it's you wouldn't pay for this effect on its own. Infiltration was a legal card in standard, but it was not very good. There's a slot machine on HQ.
I mean, you can slam face first into that. I don't know that it's healthy.
You really shouldn't. And this is kind of where I think the Amakua would have been handy, because you can charge Amakua up to 5 counters pretty trivially.
Yeah. And that second piece of ice on R&D is now, because Gold Farmer sucks to break.
It does. I think there's letting the run end. I think I would have gone R&D there and just force the res, gain more information. If it's another slot machine, it's another slot machine. Seeing E-Strike come down. There is a slight issue. You can get hard used here, but you're going to be dripping for 4 credits next turn. So I don't think that's a massive concern.
Like, it does lose you your next turn, but it also costs Ace Empress quite a bit of their credits. So
yes, things are just kind of. We had a very fast blistering start. Obviously, the runner accelerating to 3 points. I think now, though, things are starting to slow down a little bit. The E-Strike is down. Somewhat annoyingly, it is locked. The corpse ID is blank, but it is flipped. It is still flipped onto the side of the click gain. I don't know what the subtitle is. I can't remember off the top of my head, but it is flipped on the side that gains you a click. So once the E-Strike is cleared, that side of Nebula, Zero will still have to run HQ or R&D to get the
I do wonder if what Ace Empress is trying to do here is manage to fandangle a way where they can score the breaking news in a way that threatens Boom in order to get Sidero to use the Aaron Moron and then be able to 24/7 and get around the Aaron Moron counters. Then there's still a Citadel. Like, there's so many levels that you have to get through here to try and kill Sidero that I think you've just got to score out, which is not an easy thing to do.
Yeah, like at this point, yeah, I don't know how you're going to combo kill here, because there's just too much tech on board. There's Aaron Moran, there's Citadel Sanctuary. If CD-Row manages to somehow sniff it out, because you probably need to do some pre-installations. If CD-Row does sniff it out, then he can just probably play a second class act for extra insurance. So, yeah, I don't quite. We're seeing CD-Row go for a transfer here. Okay.
You've got to click left
Big
to clear one of
aggressive
the
play
tags.
here.
We're just going to eat the slot machine.
Eat the slot machine. This is going to be so get the refund back from the slot machine. So this is actually not going to really affect the credit totals a ton.
Yeah, I mean, if we get a good access here, that might be worth it. We're not even flipping because the ID text is blank.
The ID text is blank, yeah. The unfortunate element of it. So this, I guess, yeah, if you do get an access here, it's really good. Now, that's a really good access.
That's a very good access.
With 2 spin doctors down, that is a really nice little access to get. So,
okay, combo kill is pretty much just it's Jova. This is just try and score out, but
and this is kind of where I think the Leela would have been valuable, because if once you have Citadel Sanctuary and Aaron Moran down, and you have a ton of money, you know that you're not going to get boomed at any point, and you're safe from the kill threat. And so now Nebula's only opportunity now to win realistically is scoring. So which is where you get all the Leela equity from. Like if you were able to get a couple of Leela bounces while Ace Empress is trying to score out, it's the Steve, though, in fairness, definitely has provided a lot of value. Getting back these sure gambles, getting back Deuces Wild, like, it's definitely provided a lot of value, but
I always prefer Leela to Steve anyway. I've always hated Steve. I remember him being in the game when I first started playing because of system update, and just I despised him with every essence of my being. So I'm slightly biased towards picking
he is
Leela.
kind of the he's not the most exciting Crim ID that you could be when you could have a transformative effect versus Steve.
Steve. Yeah.
So yeah, I think the other issue as well is now that you've lost crowdfunding, this is not a board state that really favors crowdfunding. You're not getting in anywhere for cheap.
It does feel like we've lost more credits than we would have spent clearing tags by overinstalling the Amaka as well at this point, because it's just locked us out so much.
Yeah, not having the Amakua down to because Amakua, we've made a lot of runs. Like CD Rose played or has made an awful lot of runs here, and very realistically could have gotten the Amakua back up to strength, which means that you can actually start to pressure HQ and start getting Steve value and everything. So yeah, the game is just kind of stalled out a little bit. We're seeing now this is an install, and this is an install advance. Is it a breaking news? Is it an Astro? This is it looks like an Astro script. There's the Astro. Okay.
Okay. So is there some way that being flipped we can try and score a Ballon, fast advance a Ballon? I don't think there is. 4 clicks, Astro script. Not quite.
If you can gain a click, I think, like if you can gain a second click rather, because you have petty cash to bring you to 4 advance. Yeah, you need 5 clicks. So if you can get 5 clicks.
Let's hope there's a shipment from Tenon in here somewhere. That would be kind of horrifying to suddenly discover that the Nebula player had a shipment of Tenon and just fast advanced out a Bologna from nowhere.
So City Road going for a transfer here. He's on diversion.
Yeah. Okay.
So this will burn an Aaron counter.
Yeah, although I don't think we're especially worried about that at the moment. We want 2 Aaron counters, but I think we're still not that concerned because there isn't a breaking news in the score area, so breaking news has to get scored in order for us to actually be
so you're going to get the 2 counters anyway. Seamless launch. So with seamless launch in the deck, Ace Empress could engineer a scenario where there's a scoring remote with some number of slot machines and IP blocks that you can jam a Bologna behind. But CD-Row also has 18 credits now. Like, if that is your plan, you can just sit back, click for credits, and wait for a possible agenda push.
Yeah, I mean, with 17 credits, even with Shibboleth, you can get through quite a bit. And again, Ace Empress is only on 6 credits. Building up that remote is going to take some time of economic recovery, and we're a good chunk of the way through the deck.
We're seeing an upgrade going HQ, so that is 90% a Chrysium grid. Unless CD-Row has a Miss Bones, which we haven't seen. We've gone through most of the deck. Holy
Oh,
smokes!
oh. Do you know what?
Under the bus, Aaron Moran getting shoved out into traffic. Oh my god, okay.
Okay, this game is not over.
This is very
That-
much
I
not
mean,
over.
That makes a lot of sense. Like, if you ask the question, like, what beats the Nebula deck, and the answer is Aaron Moran, you then should ask the question, what beats Aaron Moran? And pushing him
bus.
underneath a bus. Yeah.
Just putting him underneath a bus. We'll deal with him. Okay, so now annoyingly, there is a second Aaron Moran in hand. So for as hype as that is, unless there's a second bus,
You know what they say about buses?
exactly. You don't see one for ages, and then two show up.
Why are you making it run without the Aaron Moran installed? What if we see an agenda? We want those counters. We should be greedy.
Yeah,
I always believe in being greedy, but you know.
Yeah, you got to be greedy here. You got to get the Aaron Moran down. If you find an agenda,
we can't win off of this run is a big thing, right? So we want those counters.
Exactly. I think. So I'm trying to see what I don't think Ace Empress is going to be able to score a Bologna. I think Ace Empress's best plan here is find tomorrow's headline, score that with AstroScript, get to 6, and and then just install Advance a breaking news.
Yeah, I think that's our best scoring plan, which is just really pray that Sidero here doesn't happen into it first.
Yeah, if Sidero finds that tomorrow's headline, that's kind of lights out.
Yeah. Oh, there's a Miss Bones. There we go.
There's Miss Bones, which basically tracks the Prism Grid, but you're fine with that. This is a very
on that run. We still don't have a good way through Slot Machine either.
Yeah, Shibboleth is 2, 4, 6 credits.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. Boomerangs, Slot Machine is pretty boomerangable. It only realistically has 2 subroutines in this matchup.
Listen, that's what you say, and then it'll be ding, ding, ding. It'll be jackpot time.
3 advancements on a data rave, and here we go.
Absolutely. It turns out that's a cheeky Isaac Libradore on HQ. Oh, eating your words.
Oh dear.
So I think Cedar looks like he's going to try and challenge the upgrade on HQ, but that's going to be expensive. I don't think it's worth let Ace Empress have this Crisium grid. That Crisium grid can stay there.
Just you can run R&D instead. It's allowed. No one can stop you.
You are legally allowed to run R&D in this instance, yes.
And there's only 11 cards left. I do think that Gold Farmer has been sat protecting archives for a long time. And I do wonder if it's time to check what those 5 face downs are. Because the big thing with Gold Farmer is it's a great disincentive. So sometimes being a bit cheeky and slotting something you shouldn't, face down an archive.
Oh, listen. It's the classic out. It's a classic out in a game of Netrunner of it's the classic out of don't respect your opponent. Your opponent has thrown agendas into archives. I'm now wondering a little bit, is this ice install? So we've seen there's an ice install on the remote, but if CD-Row installs Amakua, that's a farmable remote. That is free real estate right there. That is prime agricultural land. Because you can just farm that for crowdfunding, you can farm it for Desperado, and you can farm it for Amakua counters. That's 3 whole crop types.
Yeah.
Especially if Ace Empress opts to res this Crisium grid. So now Ace Empress has no money, can't res whatever this ice is. If it is something like a vanilla, you break that with the bad publicity, and then you just farm. You farm Amakua, you farm crowdfunding, you farm Desperado.
Yeah.
Zero hovering over
Oh, hell no.
archives.
Doesn't Amakua... Oh, what's the text on Amakua? Does Amakua not require you to actually access a card?
You accessing 0 cards counts as accessing cards for the purpose of Amakua.
Horrifying.
Amakua has been ruled 4 different ways over however many years it's been printed, so don't worry.
Okay.
But yes, you can charge Amakua by running an empty remote.
Gosh.
We mining accident 419 players, we know the sauce.
Oh dear, I miss all of that. I did really enjoy. Obviously, I have a deep fondness for the period of Netrunner when I started playing, but I do miss all of that nonsense.
I saw Advance Advance. Is this the tomorrow's headline? Is this tomorrow's headline? This
Oh,
is tomorrow's
it
headline.
is. Oh my god! And okay, and like we've got all of our ice res that's important, so we can just sort of sit there and regenerate our credits for a little bit.
Yeah, so I think what CD Row needs to do here is, so obviously you need to clear the tag. That's fine. Clear on your opponent's turn because you get the extra card, you get the class act draw. That's fine. I think you got to slam Amakua, get Amakua down, and run server 7 repeatedly. You also know that you're very well insulated against the boom threat. So you can kind of go tag me. You can be a little bit liberal with your tag taking. But just going into HQ looking for accesses.
Yeah,
There's a ding, ding, ding. That's triple event. We're gonna see triple advanced data raven. They said it wouldn't happen.
But it's got to happen at some point.
This is where we find out that actually that's an ice wall in server 7.
We put it on Desperate. Oh, that's brilliant! I love that. 10
oh,
out
that's
of 10.
great.
That's the funniest choice, actually.
Hey, listen, it's relevant for mass commercialization.
Like, because what you do is you put it on like Aaron Rom, then suddenly JNet has to handle the fact there's 2 different types of counters hosted on the same card.
Oh, true.
And then you crash JNet and claim it as a top.
It's okay. We've had pheromones used to be a legal playable card, so I'm sure.
Yeah.
So we're seeing now. So Steve, so we're hovering over daily cast. I kind of like hovering over the transfer instead. Your best bet now is to keep Ace Empress dirt poor.
Yeah. You can't let Ace Empress have 2 credits, which is a horrifying degree of econ denial that you need to be able to do here.
I guess
you need to be making Copulation would be really nice as well, being able to sweep HQ. But
there's also 9. There's 9 cards left in R&D. So you can kind of make some pretty good calls as to where the agendas are at this point.
And I mean, there's 3 breaking news in a modern Nebula Eternal deck?
Yeah,
usually?
so you have 4 2-pointers for 8. 3 9-pointers brings you to 17, and then 3 1-pointers brings you to 20. So yeah, 3 breaking news.
So there's 2 breaking news to be had, and we have Sidero has to steal both of them to be safe.
Yes,
which is concerning, I think.
I wonder if we're going to see the run on archives now. I think
I've been curious to what's in that archives for the last.
I think you just slam in and you just sort of say bet. Like, it's probably the best place to put a Bologna is into archives right now behind a gold farmer, because there's no way there's no way that you're gonna have 9 credits. You're not going to spend 9 credits on an archives run, but we're going to go for R&D instead.
We're getting dangerously poor doing this as well.
You are getting dangerously poor.
We're going to try and do 3 runs and get our crowdfundings back.
Okay, we're checking
Oh,
archives.
I don't want to check archives without the credits for Bologna.
I guess
I've
you don't
touched-
need to worry about hard-hitting news, but there's nothing. There is nothing. Where are the agendas?
Have we just been having has he just been having really bad luck with those HQ accesses?
Those that access look is awful. That's some like really, really unfortunate access luck.
What in the drought?
I guess now you know that you can probably. You have the armor on, so you don't have to worry about floating tags. And unless Ace Empress has a predictive planogram, there's no worry of getting hard-hitting newsed. Yeah, so credit YDL. So now
Doof, if we don't let Slot Machine Fire, gets us back, Ace Empress back into not being able to score territory.
I'm trying to do the maths on agendas. Yeah, you need to land some kind of econ denial this turn. Because a top-decked breaking news, or if it's been a breaking news, just dodging bullets like the Matrix in HQ, yeah, you are dead to you're dead to credits. You are just straight up dead to credits.
Yeah, I think doofing HQ is a priority, but you've got to break that slot machine. You cannot let Ace Empress gain 3 credits, otherwise you've lost again already.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. I think you need to now. You've got 8 cards left in the deck. You have got you've got one boomerang most likely left in the deck. Your odds of drawing a boomerang are fairly decent with the class act draw. But Doof being 2 clicks, is such a backbreaker. Just going to charge in. Just going to say if you have it, you have it. There. Oh, the double hardware.
Oh,
boomerang chilling on top. So now we're just on find the breaking news. Now CD Rose are saying hunt down the breaking news.
Okay, we're doing the double transfer now.
Yeah,
it's a little transfer. It's possibly a turn too late.
Finding Bologna is huge because now if you find the breaking news, you win. I mean, if you find the breaking news, you're probably going to win anyway. Your chance of getting winning got better. But now, the problem is now you've no money.
Like, you can technically walk into HQ. You shouldn't. But none of that says end the run.
Yeah, you can just keep walking into HQ. HQ is not Mordor. So you can just keep fishing for accesses here.
And you've got...
We're going to draw... Are we just going to see Wake Implant slam into HQ over and over again?
Why did we grab the Wake and then not install there? I feel like we're just... You know, when a game's coming to its conclusion, you get a bit excited trying to figure out how to win without your opponent winning. You just start pressing buttons.
I think there's an element of, I won't say desperation, but I definitely think Zero is just sort of saying, I'm just going for it. I am accepting that I'm going to be tagged to hell. I probably won't get boomed. I think there's only one. Is there only one boom? Obviously, these games, as we know, are pre-recorded, so they're not JNet replays. We can't look at archives. So I don't know if there is a second boom in the deck. I don't know what the influence spend is.
But we've seen an Under the Bus. But I don't think that's...
And Under the Bus is 3.
3.
And it was a seamless launch.
Boom's only 3. Why is Boom only 3 influence?
It's a difficult... Okay, so there's a Bologna. So now we're seeing the agendas when we can't...
Here's the painful thing. If this had been a transfer run just for value, because we were going to get tagged anyway, Cyril would have had the cliff.
dude,
And like
yeah,
that's
it's-
hindsight is 2020.
hindsight is 2020, but okay.
It's rough.
Bologna stands for best agenda. It is busted. We've forgotten what this feels like in standard, but yeah, this is Cyril,
Ashes
unfortunately, just
and
getting
5 threes.
that is just the max punishment there for not transferring. I think, God, do you have? Yeah, there's just kind of nothing you can really do here. You throw out the pinhole, you can kind of get rid of the Amakua now at this point. I wonder if Ace Emperor is going to pay into the tag. Yeah, so you are now tagged. You have an Iron Ron counter, but I don't think. Yeah, so keeping the transfer, so you have double transfer. I think next turn, I kind of wonder you just say Slam Wake. What's this now? So Ace Empress. Okay, giving the tag, trashing Aaron, trashing Citadel, YDL.
Okay.
Okay.
That's rough. Okay, you now are incredibly dead to boom.
Yeah, so all of our boom all of the
defense.
boom protection is gone. I think at this point you slam Wake, you transfer HQ, and I think you just try and get access because there's only 7 cards left in R&D.
And like there's a chance with the transfer you just touch the Bologna and win.
Yeah, and you know there's a Bologna in there. Ace Empress can't duck below 3 credits.
No, there's nothing to res to duck.
Yeah, you've got at least a 1 in 4. It's either you've anywhere from a 25 to a 50% chance. I have bad pub. Yes.
Oh, we're just gonna lose a credit and gain a click because we didn't need to click for credit.
Oh, sure.
Sure.
I kind of feel like you slam Wake Implant though and try and get extra access as an R&D. Because the agendas have to be somewhere. They're clearly not in HQ because we've run HQ I don't know how many times and not only seen a Bologna.
Oh dear.
Okay.
Yeah, and like Ace Empress didn't win, which means that like they didn't have it at the time.
Yeah.
And so I'm not sure, like, because City Row also wins off breaking news. We're essentially in the breaking news waiting room.
Yeah, who can find breaking news at this point? So actually, yeah. So you're the 2 copies of breaking news have to be in R&D at this point. So I would be trying to just lock R&D as best as I can. Because if you can sniff out the breaking news and if you can sniff out the boom, you win. You're completely in the clear.
Oof.
Yeah, I kind of
On 3 tags as well.
I think you have to check R&D.
Yeah. To see if Ace Empress, just to double check Ace Empress doesn't just top deck it. Because if Ace Empress has to draw, then you're fine because then you have another turn, right? So checking the top of R&D, I think is really. But it's a lot easier to say this when you're watching a video back than when you're sat there going, "Oh god, oh god, oh god."
Yeah, it's very easy for us to kind of sit here in Statler and Waldorf a bit and look at the game, but
yeah,
City-Ro's just looking for, just trying to sniff out the Bologna, sniff out the 1 in 4. I mean, you know it's in there, you know it's definitely.
But yeah, but you know that Bologna's going to stay there, and the top card of R&D could be the game for Ace Empress.
Yeah, I think you gotta. And now we're dipping below the 5 credits. So if we access the Bologna, or I guess we have Desperado. Sorry, we do have Desperado, so we're still okay. We can still steal a Bologna here. City-Ro begging in chat, please.
But we have so many tags that we're dead. We lose the game to 2 things now. which is, I think this is just this has to be game over for Sidero.
This has to be the breaking news.
It's either breaking news or boom, and either one is not pretty.
So not the breaking news. Do we have the boom? I would have assumed that. I don't assume Ace Empress is BMing and slow rolling. So it looks like CD-Row lives to tell lives to fight another day. Going on HQ.
Oh, I think that means that we've drawn one of the two. Either the boom or the breaking news is in HQ now, right? Or just because the Blonde loses Ace Empress the game.
Well, it's not the boom, because if it was the boom, it would have been played.
True.
So I think Ace Empress has found the breaking news. The question is, what's on HQ?
Maybe another slot machine. A double drain 3 really does put a problem on trying to get that Bologna out. But...
yeah, it takes from a 2 and 5 to a 1 and 5, which it is enough. It is significant enough. Although it could be an IP block. We know there's an IP block in HQ.
That's true, and while Paperclip is a hideously efficient breaker, we're dangling below the credits that we really want to be on.
We're seeing Wake come down. I think we've... I don't know if this is...
I think we were breaking Data Raven there, despite the fact we were on 6 tags, which I think might have been... Were we breaking? I can't remember.
You have to break... Well, you have to break the Data Raven to stop them from ducking on the transfer runs.
Oh, right. Yeah, that's true.
So you have to be careful there. Which sets you back. Yeah, it sets you back, and it means they can't. It means CD-Row can't then steal a Bologna. But on the last run where it wasn't a see, there's an IP block now, so
okay, we're officially below Bologna credits no matter what on this run.
Yes. So breaking the 2 slot machine subs, you just let this Data Raven fire. You are in tag hell.
Yeah, tags aren't real. But they can hurt you.
They can hurt you. Okay. Is this it? Is the breaking news in hand? No, it's the Bologna!
Turning back up when we don't have the credits again. Oh, here we are.
If CD-Row hadn't installed the Wake implant, that would be games. The Wake implant coming down, it's just coming down slightly too late. I think now at this point, so you can going for the transfer. Okay, so this transfer. Oh, but Ace Empress is just able to pay into the Data Raven to stop. You pay 7 and CD-Row. No, you pay 6. You go to 1 credit.
I think you pay 0 because you want the credits to win the game.
Oh,
there it is! Oh my god!
Holy shit! On the last possible click of the game. Oh my goodness gracious me.
Oh, that was just,
oh, what a finish.
A swing of the game. We saw
what an absolute swing.
In so much control through to that control slipping out underneath him, and then right back at the end, just pincering HQ enough until he finds it.
Just touch the agendas. The advice remains the same.
Touch cards.
Just touch the agendas. God, what a finish. And by the way, congratulations to both players. Obviously, well done to CD-Row for finding the way to win and just about getting there at the very end, literally last possible run of the game. Credit to Ace Empress for getting back into it. It looked completely dead for Nebula for large portions of that game, but Ace Empress managing to navigate to a position where they're able to get the agendas installed or get the agenda scored, finding the path, acknowledging that your kill plan is out, your kill plan is dead. You need to find a way to score to 7 points. You're not going to be advancing in the remote. What a great game for both players. Really, really well played from both players. CDRO for navigating that end. Ace Empress for navigating to a position where you're able to get to a winning line after having the kill plan covered, the remote push plan covered. What a finish. What a game from both players.
Oh, that was I just noticed the minute and seconds timer in the top left-hand corner.
Yeah, so for the patient viewers watching at home, this game, our recording of this, we had to edit down, or Wowerlock, credit to Wowerlock for watching through and editing this down to 53 minutes and 54 seconds. For the players, this was a 77-minute barn burner. So yeah, what a finish. What a game. Congratulations to both players. Extremely well done to both players. What a way to kick off Phase 2 of the Eternal Super League. And there's only more Netrunner to be played and watched. I think let's crack on and check out our next.
Keep it moving.
Our next match, we have Mezzi here playing against Knight from Chess. No biases from you in this match, I take it?
I obviously that I have zero reason to be biased here. We're going to ignore the fact that Knight from Chess might appear at any moment in my house. But,
so Mezzi, obviously we know, everyone who knows Eternal knows Mezzi. Mezzi's been hugely evangelical for the format, and she is piloting Essa, a deck that she has been really pining for and really pushing for, and sort of advocating for the strength of the deck. On the other side of the board, Jinteki PE, a deck we haven't seen in Eternal. Is this a 54? Is this PE 54 I see before my eyes?
This is 54 card PE, and I am incredibly aware of what's in this deck, and it is horrible.
Okay.
This is some proper misery Netrunner.
All right, okay. I'm expecting Museum. I'm expecting Museum with 54 cards, but we will see what is in these two decks. So Mezzi, easy mulligan there. It's not a particularly functionable hand. This, though, this is the hand that Essa wants to see.
That's a great hand, and notably now Eternal illegal hand after the
yes. Yes, this is now an Eternal illegal hand. You no longer, thanks to the point list, able to play Rumor Mill and Clan Vengeance in the same deck. But we're just going to get Rumor Mill down. Mezzi doing the gracious thing of giving time for the corp to play around Rumor Mill, but just saying, nah, screw this. You've had your window. Here we go. So getting the Brain Cage down, increasing the hand size. Mezzi will probably want to get this Clan Vengeance down at some point. You're probably going to get a lot of equity here in this match. We're going to be taking a lot of damage, a lot of net damage. But no, opting to just get rid of the Clan Vengeance. Curious at that one. Bioethics.
Here we go. Just pings and pings and pings.
Okay, so this is interesting. Okay, so we're going for Acid P. Holy touch-ups. Is this GG? Is this GG? Is this GG? What the fuck?
Now,
holy smokes!
obliged to say this, but that's some best to ever do it.
Okay,
Behavior right there.
just draw the absolute nuts. Okay.
So that's a turn 2 Corp win.
Turn 2 Corp win
3
in
minutes.
Eternal.
So hang on, 77 divided. How many threes go to 77 quickly?
It's like 16.
It's like that's 1/25th of the time of the previous match.
Yeah, we've gone from, I think, the longest game in ESL history to the shortest game in ESL history. Damn. Okay.
Look,
Okay.
Eternal. One of the things I love about Eternal is its swings and its extremes, and how sometimes you can get into these intense slogs, and sometimes you just go, "Oh, wait, what? Hang on, I'm dead."
Yeah.
There it goes. What a fantastic game.
What a brilliant game. So we're diving straight into our second one here. This is Andromeda versus IG. So both players changing decks from last phase.
So this is also 54 cards?
This IG deck is
Looks
54
like.
cards. So that is a tip off that it's a museum list. We're seeing here this Andy deck looks pretty normal. Corporate Grant. Guru Devinder is definitely an interesting choice. It's very good against kill decks, but it's not the best into something like IG, which is going to be doing a lot of repeated pings of net damage. So yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if the Guru just gets thrown out at some point. If Mezzi is on like the IG, classic IG wide plan, which we're seeing here, going very, very wide. Probably going to be seeing some bioethics, bladderworts, that kind of thing. And we're seeing a siphon, which is a great start.
Yeah, although Mezzi can duck that pretty easily, but
Mezzi can pretty easily duck that. We see a Wampoa reclamation. Well, I would get comfortable, folks. Wampoa is not a fast game. It is not a fast card.
Oh dear. I wonder. Yeah, I'm aware. After these games, No from Chess was lamenting to me that she really wished that she'd just gone with her gut and played Wiz in this phase, because we both sort of cut our teeth in Eternal on Clan Vengeance Wiz. It was sort of the deck that we both sort of started playing with and we have a deep nostalgia for it. And I think this matchup, they were just sat there going, why aren't I playing Clan Vengeance Wiz right now?
Yeah, Clan Vengeance Wiz, I think definitely it is the biggest issue for this kind of IG deck. I've spent a lot of time. This is kind of my main squeeze in Eternal, is this IG list. Is the deck that I've played basically exclusively for the last sort of two and a half years. I think the Wampoa inclusion is very interesting. You typically see Wampoa IG in the power shutdown versions that look to introduce like a Nana Civic lockout. But you seldom see it in these asset lists just because you're able to trash it so easily. Or in theory, trash it so easily, you can just access it. But if you're predicting less E-Strike in the format, IG is really, really strong. And if you're expecting a lot of combo woo, it's also very good. I think Mezzi very heavily targeting combo woo. With this one, we're seeing a back prog, just a naked back prog.
Yeah, I mean, it fills up your archives faster than most anything else. If you don't have the influence or the points for something like a VLC to help get your archives full, it certainly does it pretty quickly.
Yeah, this has, as we see there, a cohort guidance program. People are used to that costing 2 to trash. In IG right now, it actually costs 6 to trash. Thanks to IG's text. And yeah, backprog, actually, honestly, perfectly fine for the runner to steal it. You're actually happy for them to steal it. Sometimes you'll put it into archives off of a cohort or something, because yeah, it feeds archives, it feeds your ID ability. Speaking of feeding archives, we see 2 cohorts res. This, if you have not played with cohort in Industrial Genomics, you are missing out, folks. Big time. That card is pure gas in IG.
I mean, it just says gain 2 credits and make every single installed card cost 1 more credit to trash, and also probably poison archives.
I'm afraid to tell you, it's not. IG's tax does not apply to installed. Does not just apply to installed cards.
Oh god, it doesn't, does it? Oh
yeah. So you can make VLCs like 10 to trash.
Yeah, that's IG. What a horrifying piece of text to write.
What a great ID. What a beautiful what a beautiful piece of cardboard. So yeah, Mezzi now has gas. Archives is full. You've got to assume that there's some kind of poison in there. Now, I think at this point, you could probably just run archives, diffuse it, especially now that you've drawn a Miss Bones. I would just be. See, this is going to eat a lot of your Miss Bones credits. I think. Yeah, look at that. 8 to trash a cohort. That's too much.
That is.
And if we see stuff like a Bladderwort or a couple bioethics now on the board, there's one.
Well, there goes the Guru Devinder.
There's no way you're paying 4 credits.
Or
as Knight from Chess pays 4 credits for the Guru Devinder to prevent more net damage.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I think.
I mean, is our hand really that good? Is it good enough to pay 4 credits for?
It's not really like this medium. The medium is about the only thing that you really want to keep. But if you want to keep it, just install it. I wouldn't be worrying about as we see a little bit of zooming out to fit the board in. Yeah, the board is kind of getting out of hand at this point. Like, I wouldn't be opposed to just putting the medium down and just playing completely aggressively.
Yeah, just run down R&D 1,000 times and just try and steal every back pro.
Absolutely.
But okay, so I love medium.
We're seeing Wampoa get rezzed. The archives is getting run. Mezzi probably dumping more poison in there. So there's holy okay.
Oh,
so so there's something very fun now with back prog and IG that people might not be 100% familiar with. But the way the access rules work is Mezzi can, so you steal this back prog. You can fill archives up with more archives poison or more just face downs to get your IG tax back. And not only do you have to now access all of those new face downs, you also cannot flip them up. So we're paying 4 into the... Okay, so now we let the Guru Devinder die. So the Guru we paid 8 credits to prevent 2 damage. But the IG tax remains thanks to the access ruling for back prog and archives. Those cards that were added during the access remain face down.
And that hostile infrastructure is just making all of this even more painful.
Now, the benefit is so Knight from Chess did pre-install the class act, and Knight from Chess is only 1 point away from winning. The problem is you have now just lost the medium, and there's a Keeling. Okay, this is...
Oh, it makes me feel nauseous.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's just... Because you can't... That Archives has so much poison in it.
Now, yeah, and you can't run back because once you kind of know what's in there, it kind of makes it worse to run back because you're like, well, every time I want to diffuse the credits, I'm losing, I think, 3 cards. And it's entirely possible that Mezzi has managed to find more copies of Archives Poison off the cohorts. So, and even if Mezzi does draw into more poison, she can always just throw it away at instant speed thanks to the Wampoa.
Oh, we're over in Storm something. Gets another card in Archives. And Icing Archives. Okay, we're saying you're not getting rid of this Keeling. No. Oh, God.
This is kind of grim.
This is painful. I really wish we'd installed that medium.
Yeah, if you have medium at this point, you can just kind of run R&D and just look for that 7 point. I think at this stage of the game, you're not killing Keeling at this point. Keeling is 12 credits to trash. Yeah, you just gotta hammer centrals now at this point.
Yeah.
Isn't that beautiful? 10 credits to trash a bioethics association. Now that's just
very reasonable costs.
Trashing the Keeling.
Yeah. I mean, you've got to, haven't you?
No shot! Blacklist? So, this
I just hit trashing the crowdfunding because Mezzi had an action there to...
Yeah, I don't blame Knight from Chess for not playing around Blacklist. That is a card that most people who got into the game after sort of 2021, 2022 has forgotten existed. But Blacklist, hugely, very subtly powerful card, shuts down crowdfunding, shuts down paperclip, shuts down Simul chip and clone chip. You would be surprised at the extent to which this card can fuck up, pardon my language, can mess up a runner. That is sick as hell. This IG list is work of art. Absolutely beautiful.
Knight from Chess, I think we're basically just hyping for an agenda that's floated to the top of R&D, and otherwise it's just we're on 0 credits, and IG is so set up.
Yeah, I don't know what Knight from Chess meant to do at this point. You kind of just have to like hammer centrals, keep checking R&D. Knight from Chess apologizing for the small cards. Nothing we can do about it. Such is the bane of playing against wide decks like this. So yeah, checking HQ, untrashable Wampa. We check R&D, untrashable hostile. What is on the board?
Keeps coming.
It just keeps coming, and it just keeps coming. The Keelings are out. You trashed one Keeling, you can afford to trash one, but you need to make it count because now this Keeling's not going anywhere. There's no way you're getting to, let me just see, 14 credits. There's no way you're getting to 14 credits now to deal with this Keeling. You bioethics ticking. If Mezzi's able to find a second bioethics, like that's, and if you're on, if Mezzi is on something like a Chairman Hero as well, which gives a further 2 hand size reduction, do you ever
play Warm Reception in this sort of IG deck just to like de-res and re-res Keeling?
I've never done that, but that sounds absolutely gross, and I'm in favor of it. Genetics Pavilion getting rezzed. Not that it really matters. Okay, nothing in R&D isn't in HQ. I think Knight from Chess is just running out of available clicks at this point. Running on server 9. I think this is the only old face down. It's a Reaper function. Oh, is that GG?
Are we just dead to that? I think we are, right?
If there's one more if there's a bladder ward or something. Yeah, there's a bladder ward, so that is 4 damage on board.
Oh, wow.
Running through Yeah, I gotta run through just in case this Andy is on steel skins or I've had worse. But they're not. That is Mezzi. IG just applying the absolute chokehold. 2 very different net damage kills there.
Yeah. But like an interesting piece of symmetry, honestly, between like what we might expect to see in both of the decks. This sort of like horrible net damage red decks.
Oh. Yeah, it's both flavors of Jinteki and how Jinteki likes to be able to kill runners. You have the slow death by 1,000 cuts that IG normally presents, and on the flip side, you have these burst kills of where you catch the runner napping on 2 or 3 cards in hand, and then you fire off a sting or a Reaper function or a touch ups. In this instance, what creative use of the card! Really, really cool.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's IG in action. Really cool IG deck. The Wampoa, the Blacklist in there gets around so many things. And the Wampoa as well. Federal fundraising as well plays a very important role. One of the issues that IG has is that it can really struggle with getting agendas piled up in HQ. Federal fundraising, putting an end to that, stopping the runner from getting too many lucky accesses and controlling the top of R&D in HQ, which, as we saw at the end of the game, they're pretty crucial for closing it out. So well done to both players. That is half time. We are 2 matches in. 2 excellent matches there.
Yeah, such fantastic games, honestly, for all 4 of the players we had tonight. Really, really good games. Can't wait to see more from everyone. But before I let you go, rather, our viewers have been waiting for this. We have a little scoop from the next set No Signal Games is releasing. You've seen the art already, people, but you haven't seen the text. So it's my pleasure to show you Rotary, our newest criminal console. It's 3 to install. It's an hardware console. It gives you +1 MU and says, whenever you reach HQ or R&D, you may take 1 tag to access 1 additional card. You can also pay a click and 2 credit. It says click and 2 credit trash this hardware. Only the corp can use this ability and only if the runner is tagged. Limit 1 console per player. So before you 2 leave, I want to know, what do you think about this card, both in Standard but also in Eternal? What do you think is a deck that might be able to get some use out of this card?
Well, Dungeon Mixer, I think you have a perhaps a personal interest in this card, as we're about to see right after this halftime break. Perhaps you might have a few words to say about this console.
Yeah, so one of my favorite decks in Eternal, I've mentioned earlier that I really love Wiz, but like outside of Wiz, it's got to be Tag Me Liza. I absolutely adore that deck, and like this, I think at face value, when you first read this, gaining an extra tag, you don't really care about the extra access, but gaining an extra tag on your runs is really nice. And like that kind of immediately goes, maybe this is something that I should be playing. It's if the corp is worried about those tags, they can get rid of it. I don't know if they do, because again, realistically, you're doing this for the tags rather than the additional access. I think the real issue with this, and like an issue you often have when looking at cards for Eternal, is you ask yourself, am I, especially on a console, am I slotting this instead of the other option available to me? And the 2 options that you usually have in your Tag Me Liza deck, you either got the best console ever printed, Desperado, which unfortunately it's very difficult to compete with, or Obolus, which really helps you against a lot of different counterplays to the Tag Me Liza deck. Like it lets you have a ridiculous hand size, as well as constantly drawing through your deck. And so I think, unfortunately, unless I was really pressed for influence on my deck, or if I wanted to, if the meta was in a place where I needed to get as many tags as quickly as possible, maybe maybe Isolot Rotary, but unfortunately, I just don't think it quite beats out the other options available.
Yeah, so I think there's a couple ways that you can look at this. I think obviously comparing it to Desperado is tricky because Desperado is, as you say, it's one of the best, possibly the best console ever printed. I think Cipher would certainly make a claim for that title, but it's definitely easily top two, if not like top three, if not top two. The thing though that I like about this is, as you say, it speeds up your tags. The big thing that I think that Liza struggles with is speed. She takes a while to kind of get there and to find it. She is a 50 card deck. Obviously, you draw 2 cards on a successful central run, which is broken, but it does take time to find those pieces, and often you aren't able to combo out quite as quickly. Against some of the, say, the kill decks where you're looking to get set up a little bit quicker. This gets you your tags quicker, which does let you fire off that big counter surveillance because you do need to win quickly in those matchups. So say stuff like Butcher Shop and Ob. Ob is a bit trickier because Ob can usually fetch the high profile target that can kill you quicker. And it's not trashable, whereas at least Boom, the NBN decks, the decks that are importing kill cards, you can find the Boom and trash it. But I think this card has 2 very good applications. I think it's very good against those decks where you want to try and combo quickly and win before the runner is able, or before the corp is able to kill you. I think also if the meta slowed down and you weren't getting as much value out of Desperado, like you weren't getting those frequent credits, and you just needed those access. So say into something like Mezzi, for example. If Mezzi became very, very popular, I would probably be looking at Rotary over Desperado because you want to get those extra accesses. It makes your counter surveillance, it taxes your counter surveillances a little bit less, gets you more tags, which you're always happy to get. Yeah, I think this is... It's a meta call, but I'm really excited to play with it. I'm also very excited to play with it in Standard. I think we've been waiting to see kind of what the Vic package is in Standard, and now that we have this, we have the console. It's very interesting. Now we're starting to see the benefit of this sort of tag me strategy that Crim is going towards in Vantage Point. So this is, I gotta say, really, really cool card. I love the trash ability from the Corp. I think that's really neat. I think it's very, very clever. I love the ability. I love taking tags. Like, I love Liza. I love taking tags. I love not caring about tags. So yeah, I think this is really, really cool. Excellent console. And yeah, for Eternal, I think there's definitely some. Also, if Desperado ever gets pointed, this is a very, very viable backup alternative for the Crim console slot for Liza. So yeah, looking forward to seeing if this makes a splash in Eternal, and see if this maybe gives Liza a bit of juice, because I'd love to see more Liza. Liza absolutely rocks. And I hope that this is maybe gives Liza a little bit of extra juice in the Eternal format.
Wonderful analysis. Thank you both so very much for the commentary and the meta talk. And I'll let you two now go, and we'll continue with the second half of the stream in a second. So once again, thank you very much, Narco and Dungeon Mixer, for being here. Awesome hearing you here, and I can't wait to watch more of your games or hear more of your commentary in the next few weeks.
Thank you very much, Warrock. Pleasure to be in the booth. Thank you, Dungeon Mixer, for joining. And yeah, please enjoy the rest of the games. I'm going to go to get a drink of water, I think.
Makes absolute sense. Now, my co-commentator is going to join us in a second. I think as soon as he hears the call, you'll hear Aksu jump in a second. There he is. Hello, Aksu. How are you doing?
Hello. Straight off the shower to do some Netender commentary.
Awesome. That's what we wanted to hear. Do you want to say anything about the new Criminal console?
I was really hyped before somebody told me that it doesn't work with Manuel, but I think I still can run it at least at my local meetup if I just don't tell them how it works.
That makes sense, I guess.
Yeah, like that strat works almost every time.
Alright, let's jump into our next game then. Speaking of Tag Me Liza, we have Dungeon Mixer playing Liza, facing off against Augustus Caesar on Ob. A matchup we haven't seen a lot of. We haven't seen Ob at all last phase, and I think Augustus is the only one playing Ob this time around. But Ob, a namesake of the format, honestly, it has been pointed very heavily since its heydays, but a very fast kill combo deck or a very quick scoring deck in the recent changes in the meta.
Yeah, I'm also really interested to see what kind of an op deck this actually is, because Augustus specifically was last year, I believe, playing like this rush op kind of thing. So it could be like a variation of the normal just kill combo thing that we have typically seen. Also really interested to see how it works in the Tag Me Liza, because Tag Me Liza is like a deck that can kind of function pretty well against like kill-based decks.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's jump in.
You get a couple of paparazzis online and it's GG's.
Definitely.
Yeah, we can jump in and be interested. Do you want me to press the buttons or?
I think it's rolling. There you go.
Okay, sure. Also, really good having the corporate something, the criminal current in hand in the opening hand, makes it a lot more annoying to actually get rolling if this is some sort of a rush ob.
Yeah, corporate grant, very good at dealing some small amount of economic denial here and there, as well as like fight the current war in the same slot.
Yeah, 100%. Still looking kind of a tough hand, so might be a mull, but we never know.
Dungeon Mixer here thinking about her option. Mars for Martian, really good card for Liza, but something you aim to play somewhat mid game, and definitely you kind of want to avoid some of the tags if you're playing against because the kill operation of choice is high profile target that's going to deal 2 damage per each tag you have, and that usually spells disaster for heavily tagged runners.
Yeah, definitely going to be a matchup where we just need to get the paparazzi down before or later to actually be able to survive these kind of things. As there's drone deployment on top, I don't think we can be stealing that. A kind of an interesting pull though. I think that's still within range of the killer combo deck.
Yeah, the Liza draw giving Dungeon Mixer and Omakua hinted her towards running that STS, and we're taking the 3 points right away, taking the tag, keeping the tag rather, and being on 1 credit. So not a lot of options to play around, and as soon as Augie installs and reses that Estelle Moon, the races are up.
Yeah, at least staying on 1 credit can be a bit of a bounce back happening here. Running R&D, getting those two important draws, and the only credit card we have to bounce back is the Mars for Martians. So kind of a tough situation here. I guess rogue trading also helps.
Yeah, it doesn't look like we will be able to get into HQ with that account siphon anytime soon, or at least before we find another Omakua or a Boomerang. So getting money here is not the easiest way, and it looks like Dungeon Mixer decided to go for the bravado on what ends up being a Cassor. Very good eyes to tack into the combo boo matchup.
Yeah, just making sure Augustus spends some credits. Though that doesn't end up probably mattering with Augustus getting Rashida popping off and going to be installing way more cards for this Estelle Moon. And if this is the combo variation, we are pretty soon starting to actually look at the kill here.
Double install into ice. Yeah. Overcharging that Estelle Moon 4 counters means 4 cards and 8 credits. So Augustus here virtually at 12 credits, and also has really easy access to any 1 cost card in his deck thanks to that Estelle Moon.
Yeah, 1 coster is probably not as important as the 2 costers in the deck, but still advanced assembly lines gets you installs. Jackson Howard turns into a second Rashida later on, so still a lot of valuable cards there.
Dungeon Mixer going for the Courier here, probably looking forward to landing some HQ pressure, like the account siphon we can see in hand right now. Instead, turning.
Challenge the remote first.
Interesting. I mean, it makes sense. You want to force the SL Moon before you go for the siphon to get the maximum value and the maximum denial here. But we have no information about that whatever eyes on server 1 is right now.
Oh, tour guide. Yeah, that's going to be ending the run. Not the best eyes into criminal specifically, but still good enough. And this account siphon is looking really tough to play here. With Augustus just on 2 credits, it's way too easy for Augustus to just bounce back on credits or go low on credits. And we have to clear 1 tag, so we are not instantly dead to the mutual high-profile target. And that's really tough in this Tag Me Liza decks. It really doesn't want to be sitting around clearing tags here.
Yeah, not having found that paparazzi means Dungeon Mixer has to take this one very slow. And Augustus gets to go to pop the SL Moon into an advanced symbol line and probably considering popping the advanced symbol line for a Rashida at start of turn or something like that. We'll see what the call ends up being here. 9 cards and 4 cards installed into different servers means Augustus has a lot of options to play around here, and Ob is like gives you so many things you can think about and so many lines opens up thanks to that ability.
Yeah, 100%. Question here is, do we have the combo yet? Doesn't look like it. Searching for a 0-coster. And just getting a Rashida on the Runner Corporation's turn. Gotta get those extra... Oh, never mind. I think we have it. That's 3 cards. A Jeeves on the table. No, just installing cards.
Yeah, it looks like we're missing the one of the 2 kill operations because we have the whole setup. We can trash cards with G's to feed the mutually assured distraction and then fire off the high profile target. So it looks like Augustus here is missing some of the pieces, but the threat is on the table and Dungeon Mixer will have to respect it and do her best to fight off this scary proposition Augustus is putting on the table.
Yeah, luckily we do have some bounce back. Now I don't think Augustus has enough stuff on table to actually clear out everything. So this account siphon might be landing this turn.
Yeah, it looks really hard to duck completely under the 5 credit threshold. Although we need 1 more credit to get through the Casserade even. And it looks like that's the decision. Dungeon Mixer goes for click for a credit and then send the account siphon.
Yeah, still dead probably to do the Chiefs being on table and mutual assured destruction being a triple, needing you to have everything on table. And cannot clear Jeeves and every other server to go check for extra what's CVS in like the long-term name?
The Cyberdex Virus Suite.
Exactly. Cannot go check for those, which means Augustus still probably has access to a extra copy of Jeeves.
Although Jeeves not even necessary here for Augustus, to be fair. Dungeon Mixer sitting on 5 tags means a single high profile target is enough to kill. And so the triple isn't even like necessary step of the process. This matchup can be quite good for the alt player if you end up drawing the kill piece before your tag operation, because sometimes you don't even need to find tag operation, and the runner here forced to go very tag me because of what the deck wants to do is going to play around the fact that they hope the corp doesn't find the kill piece. And that's it.
And there it is. Yeah, finding it on turn 5. Bit longer than you expect. And also had the full combo. Yeah, could have been a really different game if the runner actually did draw I think one of the 3 copies of Paparazzi we probably have in here. Still, might not be enough with Augustus having access to so much money to actually be able to just manually start clearing the installables.
Yeah,
but a tough matchup nonetheless.
Definitely a valiant fight from Dungeon Mixer trying to rush and ideally keep the head of Op under the water until you find enough points, but not managing that, and Op honestly having a board that proliferates and keeps on coming and finding enough cards to find it, kill piece, and play it in time.
Yeah, maybe Bronner getting punished for the aggressive early game, going for the 3 pointers on top of the deck, going down to 1 credit, and we kind of never got a comfortable footing after that. And Augustus just installing everything in remotes, going super fast after that, kind of a difficult spot to be in.
Alright, let's jump, I think, in the next game, the other side of the same matchup, where we see, if I'm not mistaken, there it is, Augustus Caesar back on the guys, this time around fighting off against Dungeon Mixer's Sports Medal.
Sports Medal is interesting to see. I don't think we have ever seen this in ESL, but feel like we are trying to go fast during this game, and I think this might be the first week Augustus doesn't get Scarcity of Resource turn 1. So we even will see the guys deck do something else than completely flounder.
The fabled Blink guys that we've been wanting to see, only played 2 weeks of it because Augustus had a bye week at some point. Now facing off against an HB identity, probably something that doesn't, as you said, play Scarcity, and we don't see a Scarcity turn 1. So Augustus is free to finally play the deck at its full potential.
Putting an account siphon onto the thing, can just go send it. Probably a bit too early this game though.
Looking for
crowdfundings.
Yeah, looking for a boomerang or something that could get Augustus through that HQ, and still decides to.
Oh, just sending it.
Yeah.
I guess just making your opponent spend credits early on, still a valuable thing. Meridian. I think is Augustus just happy to eat that one? Probably not happy, but still you kind of have to do it.
It is a tough position because Meridian, you gain 4 credits and end the run unless the runner takes it as a -1. So you wouldn't be stealing a lot of credits, especially if Dungeon Master can res any of the 2 cards in the 2 servers. So a really tough position because you also don't want to give the 4 credits back to Dungeon Mixer.
Oh yeah, I might have forgotten that it doesn't that you get to choose.
Yeah, it is up to the runner here.
Is a tough thing, especially with 2 remotes on the table. Probably able to actually just rest one of these cards and go like credit neutral. Yeah, looks like it. Down to 2 credits on the corp side, and no Rashidas to bounce back here.
Both players in a bit of a low credit total here. We'll see how the games develops, and Dungeon Mixer decides to click for pool credits and protect HQ again from the next I want to say crowdfunding, not crowdfunding, but account siphon that Augustus might be playing in a second, and that's instantly pays off as Augustus finds the diversion of funds.
Oh, Vacheron on top. That's a 3 points that we will get as credits at actual points at some point. Right now, almost a blank though.
Ooh, that's a big hit. Vacheron 3 points if Augustus can survive 4 more turns. Right now, only buffing up all the cards that Dungeon Mixer might be playing that scale off of the number of cards in Augustus's score area. We'll see if a game changer or a fast break end up finding their way onto the table.
Or Mega Breaks also. So already 3 agendas on Augustus' score area and 0 points actually gained here.
Mega Break also
this
enables.
This is the best time, I feel like.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
I feel like this is the best time you want to be scoring stealing that Vacheron. You don't want to see it any later than this, when you actually have a chance to get those 3 points out of it any later on, and you basically just get a blank 0 out of it.
Absolutely agree. Yeah, finding the veteran early is necessary for this matchup to be somewhat victorious for the runner. You don't want to find veteran on the last couple of turns. Although Mega Pre, on the other hand, you're not terribly happy to find it. It now enabled Dungeon Mixer to score them as 3/2s and possibly free up some credits or some lines where we get to 7 in a shorter amount of scores.
Now, Augustus is having an off turn, letting this promote exist in peace. And interesting to see what's actually in the remote. If this is Rashida, Augustus might be kicking himself.
Not finding a tech threat is definitely hurting Augustus so far. He has gone through about half of his deck and hasn't found one of the key card to keep the deck afloat in terms of credits. The 2 resources he has are definitely going to help, but this has given Dungeon Mixer a bit of a window to do something with that remote. Doesn't look like it's Arashida, but it might end up being some kind of tempo positive agenda that Sports Medal can score.
Doesn't look like it. Could have been just a other Megaplex that Dungeon Mixer kind of wants Augustus to go get, and just putting that up there on the off chance Augustus would have run it.
Also, really important to notice, Augustus here currently has a corporate grind on the board, but also is holding an employee strike in hand. So I think that's what the adaptation for Augustus here has been, to put in even more than 3 currents to just fight off the scarcity of resources.
Oh, and the first tech trader being found, so Augustus actually getting some credits after this.
Very, very much necessary. Popping the no free lines for 3 credits, for 4 credits and a card, absolute value, and then challenging the Jackson Hour. You don't want to let that sit there, let Dungeon Mixer find more cards and maybe shuffle edition that she doesn't want to hold on, and then installing a few more cards, keeping that corporate grind active and slowly draining a bit of money here and there from the corp.
Yeah, getting the corp down just to 2 credits, and does look like an agenda in the remote as advanced last turn. And bouncing back from 2 is kind of annoying here, especially when Augustus still does have a lot of credit denial in hand. So if we bounce back somehow with like a stock buyback or something, Augustus can be just sending it HQ and go make Dungeon Mixer go back down to 0.
Yeah, it looks like a bit of a game of chicken. Dungeon Mixer doesn't want to go too high because Augustus then can just set them back to 0, and the opposite is also true. Augustus here could check the card in server 1, but that would give Dungeon Mixer some amount of credits, and so they're both kind of sitting, waiting to pounce on the other player as soon as one of them makes a bad move, and this still moon into double install is maybe a way to make some credits are not as easy to challenge as clicking for credit would be.
Yeah, sadly it has to pop it, and HQ still kind of look maybe weak. Second crowdfunding on the bling, so it actually does bling trash forest, and then you can install it.
I believe the triggers are the same, so you probably miss out on the crowdfundings that are sitting on the bling. On the other hand, whenever you install a bling from the heap, that will trigger bling, and that will keep the card on bling for 1 turn cycle, so it won't go away until at the end of your next turn.
Yeah, interesting utility there. Like you can get these timings off differently, and kind of let different thing happen.
Just installing the crowdfunding, clicking for effectively 3 credits in a card in a bit, and between all of this slowdown that Augustus has put on Dungeon Mixer, all of the economic pressure, the veteran is almost at 0, so Augustus is almost at 4 points. And
yeah, and having to manually score this hyperloop just to clear out the corporate grant, doesn't feel super good here.
And Augustus has
And
the
after
chance.
8 credits, Augustus instantly sending the account siphon boomerang, going to pressure Dungeon Mixer out of these, basically everything that they have in the credit pool.
Yeah, waiting no time to send that account siphon, get back a lot of money, and also, and most importantly, put Dungeon Mixer on as little credits as possible. Dungeon Mixer raising an Architect, a key ice, very powerful ice from way back, and also has an important line of text that says this cannot be trashed by either player. So once again, probably coming in as a tech ice for the combo Woo matchup.
Yeah, we do see a dupe start being rest on the remote, making Dungeon Mixer go down to 0. Augustus just then accepting to weave the account siphon. Still gets an access, and sadly the Nightmare Archives 1 core damage.
Up to take
Coming
the
from
core
there.
damage. Potentially
I
opening
don't
up.
think you. Yeah.
Yeah, potentially opening up more ontological dependencies lines in the future, and accessing a second Nightmare Archives, and this time around having to take the -1 point to avoid making the ontologicals 2/2s, which would be fairly easy for the Dungeon Mixer to score in the future.
Yeah, like piling everything onto the score area is going to be kind of dangerous. There probably is still some sort of a capitalization on the corp side from these, like a game changer. If we get enough credit, just can win the game basically by itself right now.
Yeah, Dungeon Mixer looks like a couple of really key operations away from a turnaround. One stock buyback into a game changer or a fast break could open up incredible lines. But Augustus is doing his best to keep Dungeon Mixer down on credits and away from those the resources necessary to go into a scoring spree, let's say.
Yeah, Dungeon Mixer having to just click for credits and draws here. Probably digging for that stock buyback that I assume is somewhere in the deck. But not enough right now.
Second tech trader shows up, but it doesn't look like the credits are going to be the main factor for Augustus here. So we're waiting on that second tech trader and just trying to get as many accesses as possible on HQ.
Yeah, Gatekeeper being hosted on the copulation probably doesn't end up mattering that much. Still a good ice, but Augustus just taking that for the multi-access feature later on. Rashida being popped. We're up to 6 credits. It might be game changer time soon. 5 cards on the scorer. Jackson Howard being played. And this at least buys Augustus one more turn. So this is not yet it.
On the other hand, drawing with Jackson is going to increase the odds of Dungeon Mixer to find that game changer or a stock buyback to ideally go off, or maybe a fast break to set up a combo. We don't know what we're looking forward to, but the jupe set is definitely something that tells me we're gonna score as many gens as possible from a single remote, ideally in the same turn or even the same paid ability window. We'll see if Dungeon Mixer can achieve that in a second, and if they can fight through the criminal economic pressure that this guy looks to put up.
Yeah, Tech Trader installing. Still not finding the killer here. Also, Tech Trader kind of being stuck on the bling. Basically being held hostage.
Tech Trader on Bling, not exactly what you want to see. Although we have some recursion in hand in the form of Ashen Epilogue, so Augustus might not need the third Tech Trader to keep the game going for now. And I think we're considering popping the either the Street Peddler or the same old thing to get another account siphon going. It looks like we're going for the boomerang.
Yeah, same old thing. And I think this same old thing might be getting an account siphon. Yeah, sending it just having to make the sure corporation goes down to 0 credits every turn, basically.
Yeah,
Otherwise, just way too scary of a situation.
that makes absolute sense. All of these siphon spam criminal, very different in how they perform, but the game plan is very similar for all of them. You want to send as many account siphons. You want to bring the corp deck to as little credit as possible every turn, so they don't have a great way to play the game, and then ideally swoop in and find as many points as possible in one single go. Augustus only needs 4 points after all to win, but they can't come from veterans right now because the game is likely to end before Augustus can actually wait up those counters.
Yeah, probably. Still, we can send a big dig on R&D or HQ. Probably both next turn. Dungeon Mixer just setting up more remotes. Still tough to function on one singular credit. Though you start running and access a hyperloop, it might change the game totally. This employee strike, though, is going to be huge. It's going to limit so many credits that Dungeon Mixer is going to get if we access those one-pointers.
Yeah, I wanted to mention that as well. Removing the chance for Dungeon Mixer to gain 2 credits on each axis is significant.
Oh yeah, the copulation being treated as a trashed cost symbol. Kind of a funny. And sniping the game changer.
That's huge. 2 credits to trash that. Although we find there's also a fast break. I don't know if Dungeon Mixer has the money to play that next turn, but that's one of the combo tools. It would now draw 6 cards, make 6 credits, so not net positive at 2, and install up to 6 cards in the same remote or in the same server, I guess.
Yeah, going R&D again. Waking Plan on 3 counters can gather a lot of cards. And if it's 3 copies of Snare, shock, we die, but... Oh, and we see the fast break coming up, so Dungeon Mixer just has to draw up, and they will gain 18 credits, I believe, at the end of this turn, if we just click Jackson basically once.
Yeah, getting access to that stock buyback would be
And
massive. And we click Jackson right away. I think it's the next card in line. I think it was card number 4. So Dungeon Mixer might not have it. And
we didn't draw it yet. So Dungeon Mixer still on singular credit. And Augustus probably gets a sigh of relief. We can go and attack HQ. Though Augustus, do we want to pop this first? Sure, apparently we do.
I think Augustus here digging for the copulation, hoping to find a way to take the stock buyback out of the game for good before Dungeon Mixer can play it. Because if she manages to play that one, the economic war is basically over. I don't think Augustus can keep Dungeon Mixer away from enough credits to play the game if for a single click you get all the way to 18. Oh, and there it is again. If only we had the copulation, I think Augustus here would love to be able to take the card away.
Yeah, if only. One run on HQ, and do we then run R&D? Might be seeing a charge of the stone ship. Still deciding. Could go remotes either. A lot of options here to do, and
Check
basically, yeah, just the decision tree. Some of these options just ending in a direct lose. Sniping agenda off the table up to 5 points.
That's a great find. We'll see if Dungeon Mixer can close the game here, or if Augustus can live another day and use that charged wake implant to access a bunch of card R&D and hopefully find the 2 points he's missing.
I feel like we're going to get a bunch of access after next turn, but next turn is going to be the last one Augustus probably gets, with the stock buyback probably being played this turn.
Dungeon Mixer drawing a single card without using Jackson. Very interesting play. Clicking for a credit, and you have to assume, yeah, playing the stock buyback, gaining a whopping 21 credits for a single click and a single credit. And now 22 credits is enough to probably perform some kind of combo. I think we're going to see Augustus going all in with the accesses here, trying to find the 2 missing points they need to win.
I would assume so. Probably getting couple access here. Running HQ gets you one more with the wake implant. Go install the copulation.
We're slightly low on credits, so I guess this might be saving some money by running archives instead of HQ. Also forcing the Jackson so we can run R&D the turn after, or the click after rather, and gain as much gain.
And a second Jackson.
Yeah.
So many points in archives probably.
Okay, have the best odds to access an R&D.
This is where Vacheron shines so much more than it normally does. Just having 6 less points in R&D is so huge. I was seeing a Nightmare Archives. I think that the score area going up to 4 agenda points, like down to 4 agenda points. Oh, and going HQ, probably try to clear the Game Changer out of there.
Spy camera, maybe showing something, throwing an agenda we want to find. There's only an Estelle Moon on R&D, and it looks like Lucas is going to take his last click to run HQ, trying to snipe the agendas away. If you don't have an agenda in hand, or if you don't have a game changer in hand with Sports Metal, it's hard to maybe start a game-winning combo, and you kind of rely on that fast break to find the start of your combo line. Ooh, El Salvador is really good. Is a really important piece.
Doesn't trash it though. Yeah, having to have credits for the game changer, and a lot of this is coming down to actually what do we have left in the deck. Dungeon Mixer can probably still has the fast break in hand, I believe. So fast break can dig for the last game changer in the deck, and a lot of this is going down to the last draws here.
That single fast break has to either set up a game-winning combo or has to find Dungeon Mixer the game changer that's gonna boost her chances all the way to a win. I think she has to score 6 points. And does Estelle Moon work with break?
I think it does. So
oh my!
Fast break going to install around 8 cards on the remote, maybe a bit less. Still, a huge amount of cards going to be installed in the same remote. And I think that makes sure Dungeon Mixer gets a lot of the draws. Maybe even overdraws here. Could be a scary prospect that way. You still just have 8 cards left in R&D.
Every card you install here is another card you can draw with Estelle Moon, digging for the probably winning.
There's the game changer. We found it. It's paying 6 credits to gain up to 9 clicks. And if we have Arala Salvatore or dupes that are grid on the remote, could be just game over here.
We don't have a lot of ways to fast advance, but the 9 clicks and 22 credits are enough to score a few agendas, that's for sure. Arela's gonna install all the agendas necessary and advance them just slightly. And if we have a dupe set and enough ontologicals, there's definitely a way. Let's see if Dungeon Mixer can get there. 3 cards in R&D, 22 credits.
Oh, second fast break. Still digging for everything. We have 3 cards left in the deck. And yeah, just 1 installer.
Popping the Estelle Moon, going for 0 cards in R&D. Dungeon Mixer going all in on this core, but you have to believe the win is there.
A second game just up to 15 clicks. Racing a dupe stud. Arala Salvatore. And advancing. Seeing 2 advancements now. Scoring on Elivagar. 1 more core happening. And I feel like a lot of agendas are going to be piled through that remote here. And not a lot Augustus can do. Just typing the preemptive GGs. And
looks like Dungeon Mixer only needs to go through the motion. Probably going to score out before she ends up killing the runner, but there's a chance. At this point definitely, and probably scoring a couple more agendas to get there with all the ontologicals.
Yeah, I was just managing to get around 7 actual agenda points into the score area. Sadly, these Meridians and Nightmare Archives being so frustrating here and making sure Augustus just couldn't win the game, getting enough access here. And yeah, Game Changer, absolutely a huge card, combined with Fast Break. draws almost the entirety of your deck, and you just get to do this absolutely humongous plays.
Yeah, great fight on both sides, honestly. Augustus doing his best to keep Dungeon Mixer out of money and ideally rushing out those 7 points, but getting those 3 -1 ended up being extremely key. And Dungeon Mixer using all 8 of those cards in the Runner's Courier to set up the game-winning combo and scoring out what looks like 7 points in a single turn in the end.
Yeah, kind of interesting to see how this deck works out. Sadly, the Geist still hasn't been paying off. We did see a lot of the blink triggers actually go to waste, so maybe kind of a difficult draw for Augustus. Also, Tech Traders being found out really late in the matchup, and tough to see.
Definitely. We'll see next week. Definitely. We'll see next week if the Geist pays off. But for now, let's jump into the first game between Toron and Jai. We'll see Kabonesa Wu. Looks like once again World 3 Wu, 135 cards. Looks like similar to last week's. Playing off against Scorpios defense system. The opposite of what a fun favorite would be, but one of the very much one of the Jai's favorite corp, I think, in the format.
Yeah, Scorpios definitely a divisive agenda in the Eternal Spheres. Some people even going as far to instantly concede every single match they play against Scorpios in tournaments. And Jai just decided to go full Mask of Evil mode and pick up the people's least favorite identity in the entire card pool. Still interesting to see though how it is going to work out. World 3 Wu is an interesting matchup for this, because World 3 Wu is kind of built on this idea of recursion, and if you start getting your tree sniped, you can lose a lot of your really important key pieces that just cannot get back anymore.
Jai right now setting up what looks like a, maybe not scoring remote, but some kind of asset or upgrade to fire off early next turn. And turn not with the best starting hand. Illumination is really good, but the hand doesn't support it terribly. Although Kabonesa Wu can kind of make any hand work thanks to her ability to fetch the World Tree and start firing off the engine.
Yeah, probably going to fetch a couple of Coalescences, maybe get a 3 down, and Illumination. At least you have Ghost Runner that you can get down, Feedback Filter, a tech card for not this matchup, and Cyber Solution Memchip, kind of a other late game card. So probably divide depending more on the ID this turn.
Definitely. We'll see. I think the matchup here comes down to how quickly Jai can set up ice on every server and make runs quite hard. Scorpios plays a lot of very big ice that they can cheat through forfeiting agendas, and plays a lot of very small agendas that they can score very quickly. We'll see Turn can get set up before the door shuts down and all the servers are covered in Titaniums or BOX.
Just taking his time to think here. Click one is draw, maybe not typical that we see from the deck. Getting like a random slot machine pull of your draw from 130 cards is interesting. Is self-modifying code luckily a pretty good solution and a card you want to see? Going into Coalescence, clicking one of those through into another SMC, and Illumination, sending it, fetching a World Tree maybe, and removing from the game. No, that's in the play area, never mind. Jainet, Wonders of the Jainet interface.
I think that was the trigger off of clicking the self-modifying code. The smart Scorpios now interrupting every time you trash something to ask if you wanted to remove it before Toron makes a decision.
Yeah, Wonders of Scorpios being played.
But Jai instead deciding to remove the Coalescence from the game with the Scorpios ability. One of the main way that Kabonesa Wu keeps the money going early on, especially.
He has on the R&D just 3 points. Depends on how can Toron afford to trash any of these. deck their self-modifying codes, everything kind of important, but this self-modifying code probably the one that has to go. Yeah, looks like it.
Massive 3 points early on is a really good find for Torn. Scorpios plays only 3 pointers, a full playset of STS drone deployment usually, and we'll see if and like this is a really pivotal steal for Torn, especially early on. It's also one of the key cards for Jitra and Snipe. What would be usually the big three that of daemons that Kabonesa sets up.
Jai just has the Hunter Seeker in hand early on, a double 2 credits, trash any single card on the runner's board, and sending out the drones to get cut down the tree. Remove it from game and turn down 0 credits. Cannot do anything here. You cannot have enough credits to tutor out the second tree. It has to click for credits first, even to get a coalescence out. Using deck there?
So
that works?
Yeah, the JNet doesn't know that you're gonna install on deck deer, so it's not gonna discount your card before you play it, so it's not gonna show you the coalescence in the options with Kabonesa. So Torn getting around the virtual limitation of the game engine we're using by just getting a credit and then losing it right after the install. That absolutely works. So you can install a coalescence from 0 thanks to Kabonesa and deck deer, discounting it both by 1.
Somebody get the roll stem on this one. And yeah, still going on. I feel like this other coalescence also probably going to be sniped by Scorpios. This is like the main econ engine that Kabonesa deck kind of wants to use early on. And yeah, just removing from game every single tree and leave. Scorpios just basically doing deforestation out here. And turn up to 8 credits does mean we have a self-modifying code getting back to World Tree.
World Tree probably here jumping on the rig and sacrificing the coalescence for a different program. But now Torn is out 1 World Tree, the second one is sitting on the board, and he's missing all of the coalescences, 2 of which are completely removed from the game.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the main ways that deck generates money early on is thanks to that coalescence, and we don't have access to that. Although we find another agenda.
Oh, really? Is Hostile Takeover already being sniped? Does Jai have a second Hunter Seeker, though?
Second Hunter Seeker here would be devastating. We'll see if Jai has access to that. We'll see if we get to remove another World Tree from the game. Looks like we're thinking about it. And the chat is...
Jai playing around here with his food. Consulting visit into a Hunter Seeker. Goodbye, the second copy of World Tree. And does Torn have the third one? We have lost an access to all of our coalescences. So now just credits are down a lot here.
It is gonna be
all the trees.
Yeah, it's gonna be really hard to bounce back here from Torn. All the fast money is gone. The 1 creative commission he ended up drawing in the starting hand might be the saving grace to generating a World Tree. Maybe not this turn, but next turn. And also the fact that Jai is on 0 credit is very much significant. We don't know what's in server 1. It probably is an upgrade, or it might be a 2-1 agenda that Jai hasn't had the time to score. And I think Torn's best chance here is Ooh, installing a Cuban Pikachu would be
Pikachu is so good here. Just clicking for hella credit.
How is this guy finding so many lines? What are these lines?
No, that's so smart. There's so many credits coming up.
And oh my god, that's game!
No, that's cheating, low-key. Just sniping 3 axes, 3 agendas. Like, the deck plays so many low agenda points cards, and we just snipe 2 STSs and a Hostile Takeover.
Unique card access 3. Agendas in the score area 3. That's it. That's the game. Sometimes you gotta touch cards and find the points.
Yeah, that's what we deserve for playing Scorpios.
a well-deserved end, some people will say, to Scorpios. I think really well-navigated game. I think. I mean, turn getting very lucky, but I think finding the incredible lines to bounce back, risking the third wall tree getting removed would have made the game much harder. But just sniping all the points early on, and honestly very good to bouncing back. And I mean, great deck building on Jai's side, I think, to put so much pressure onto one of the better decks in the format.
Yeah, great deck building, putting those Hunter Seekers in the deck, the only card we actually did see basically during the entire game. Yeah, kind of, it's a card game, these things happen. What can you do?
Definitely. And with that, I think we have one more game. We have the flip side of this matchup. We'll see what Jai ended up going with for his phase 2 deck, as he ends up playing what looks like Andromeda, playing against Torrent's Cerebral Imaging. So we have no idea what this CI is going to do. The starting hand from Jai looks fairly decent. Double account siphon into CI is definitely what you want to see. Hopefully keeping their credit as low as possible. But Turn starting really strong with Ice on HQ, credit into Violet level clearance.
Yeah, I think we're just sending the Bravado on HQ. Make sure Torn has to rest it. If it's something like IQ, you're kind of happy about getting the rest. Probably Torn not resting that one, though. Even any other eyes, like what we usually see, IQs, Votans, what's Hyperchild, Fairchild 3s, all of those could have been rest, just don't see that happening right now. And Jai lowering the account siphon could be sending that one. Does send it that one.
We might see Thoran here pulling the trigger. Going low on credit is not great for CI, but you also don't want to let Jai know that the account siphon is safe to play. And I think you have to kind of weigh in on whether you want to go down to 4 credits or not. And we end up resing the MIC, going very low on credits. We'll see if Thoran can jump back up to keep the hand size high enough, but also stuffing completely the account siphon, taking some of the clicks away from Jai and forcing Jai to find a different option to get into the HQ in the future.
Yeah, a lot of this is going to come down on what Torn has in hand. Do we have YDLs to bounce back? Do we have any other operations? Click for credit and Violet level clearance if he has hand a beat. No, it does look like a click for credit, and surely we have to have a last econ operation. Doesn't have it, has to discard 3 cards. And if Jai can find this second account siphon in there, that's going to be so horrible for Toron here. And we do have the Shibboleth in hand, so Jai probably lining that up and grinning in an evil way. There's going to be a sinister line happening next turn.
Yeah, I can already hear the laughter coming from Jai. We have the quarter in hand, the second account siphon.
Undo click? Clicking for a credit, that's not that much better for Toron here, and didn't have the YDL, so I think Toron might be in a world of trouble after this next turn lines up.
It is.
Does Jai do it though? Do we send it?
I think that's the only line, yeah.
Click to account siphon. Yeah, Jai finds the line.
Jumping in, Shibboleth, breaking the MIC.
Still so worth it, so worth it.
One hand size is so little to play, especially for a deck that really wants to be on high credits and
Jai plays the CBI rating there. Jai has so many tech cards for this CI matchup. And click for 2 credits. Click for 3 credits, has to discard even more cards. And if Jai manages to find one more account siphon, that might be just game right there.
Honestly, it might be game just running archives. Like, we haven't seen Toron play any cards. We know there was an ice at some point, but Toron doesn't look like he has a lot of economic operations to play.
No, Employee Strike actually not that good here. Toron's on so little hand size that Toron probably would get more hand size from Jai playing it.
You definitely want to keep
But-
it for later, I think.
100%. It's a really important card later on in the matchup, just not helpful right specifically now. And we see a Vanity Project having to be discarded in archives. Also a Helheim server.
This is a funky build. Vanity Project, one of the protagonists, I want to say, from ESL Season 1. One of the main ways that Torn won games with his CI is through scoring one of these. It has been the reason, I think, that we've seen Big Deal hit the point list on 1. So I'm interested in seeing if Torn is playing Big Deal in this list, or if there's a different way with enough credits, maybe playing Nano Management and Biotic Labor to score such a big agenda.
Yeah, I think this CI list specifically a list that got hurt by the recent Eternal Pointed changes. I don't know if you had time to talk about those before this match during the stream yet. But yeah, CI kind of getting hit, but still we are playing with the old points here, so doesn't matter for this game specifically. Desperado is going to be a lot of credits during the game. I think Jai is going to be happy running R&D with that installed.
Yeah, without any multi-access R&D isn't the most appealing, although the credits on this product are great. And the one silver lining for Torn is that Vanity Project being 4 points and 1 single access means Shibboleth is now only 1 strength, and Jai is gonna have to pay a lot of credits to get through that one and into HQ in the future.
Yeah, upwards of 7 credits just to break the MIC. Sending a gamble employee strike slowing Torn down so much.
We'll see if
And
Torn...
drawing up the second one, he has just skillful play here from the... I was about to call him People's Champion, but I know he doesn't like this one.
Great mentioning it without actually putting the name there. And Torn playing the YDL, you have to expect some kind of a current occurrence. Then no, just going down to 6 and probably discarding. Holding 5 cards, not exactly where you want it to be, but has enough money to maybe pull out some kind of play in the future. Right now, not having access to a current to shut down an employee strike.
The employee strike not winning a game by itself, just slowing Torn down massively here. And drawing up even more tech cards, we see Guru Divinder be installed. Really important for people matching up with Jai later on in the tournament series to know that that's in there. But in this matchup, basically being a blank card that will never be installed.
It doesn't even save you. Well, it doesn't save you from core damage, which are the go-to solution sometimes, or go-to damage for brain wiring kills in the modern days. But it can save you from some other kind of damage if Torn has some interesting lines, or some different lines rather, with that brain wiring. Although seeing Vanity Project, I wouldn't expect brain rewiring to be in there.
Yeah, probably not. We do see just drawing up, clearing tags, has to clear tags to install this recent unban in standard format, daily casts installed on table, and that's just the long-term econ Jai has to play.
Torrent's still playing under that employee strike. Installing an upgrade on HQ looks like to be either a Crisium grade to stop future account siphons, or maybe a panic button to click as many times as possible if Jai ends up running HQ and maybe finding and having enough cards in hand to find the current and playing a YDL to jump all the way back to a reasonable amount of credits.
Yeah, we did also see a Helheim City server, or Helheim something in archives, so it could be just a card to boost strength of the ice installed somewhere, maybe to stop a account siphon run or something. Probably not the install at this point though.
Yeah, that's a good point. Helheim server is something you spend cards from hand to boost the strength of ice, so something that could definitely benefit CI in some situations. Not the greatest of installs right now, although Torn has to still be still keep 5 cards in hand at at maximum because of that employee strike. So not the worst way to use the cards in hand instead of just discarding them to hand size later on.
Just thinking about the installs here, doesn't have access to really any liquid cash, just a lot of power cards and tech cards in hand currently. Last click sending a bravado just for that sweet 3 credits does make overbreaking. Yeah, spending 5 credits to get in just for a single access though.
Sounds expensive. Bravado will pay you back a little bit, but I think Jai wants to really find the upgrade on HQ, yeah, and turning off that Crisium Grid so that a counter in the future could be played. And that's a punitive counter-strike.
Being played. That's a really interesting tech card. Could have been just murked by the access on archives earlier. Luckily, Torrent didn't have that punitive in there yet at that point. It does look like.
Yeah, a couple of punitive counter or a punitive counter into any recursion operation spells out disaster if you steal a vanity project. That's 8 damage coming in your way, and I mean CI known for having a lot of credits, so definitely enough to pay for those traces. Could be something that Torrent had planned in case someone stole the vanity project but ended up not being able to use it against Jai, as vanity project got stolen very early on a very not corp favored credit total.
Luckily, Jai managing up to get to 4 points. So any 3-point, most 3-pointers would end up with Jai winning on the next agenda stealer. That I think Torrent is playing just 3-pointers after this. But I think Torrent might be playing either GFI, which would end up being 2 points for Jai, or Project Vacheron, which is basically 0 points for Jai. And both of those still allow Jai to get killed by punitive counter-strike as punishment.
Jai here has to be very precise. You're absolutely correct. Both of those agendas would not make Jai win the game, but would definitely set up a punitive counter-strike win. And I think Jai kicking himself a little bit for discarding that Garuda because Garuda on the board, you are safe from the first punitive counter-strike, and it's unlikely you're gonna get hit by 2 more, I think, like unless Torrent has a very high credit count and access to all 3 and enough influence to play those.
Yeah, and this employee stack has been doing so much work here. Torrent again having to discard 4 cards out. Basically has been discarding most cards that he has drawn this game.
Yeah, and the second employee strike in hand, as well as the same old thing, kind of means that Torrent will have to either score out something or play through that employee strike for the rest of the game. Not a great proposition for the CI, that's for sure. And not a great position to be in if you expect to see a lot of Andromedas in your next games, because those are fairly happy to play employee strike in a lot of these games.
Yeah, 100%. Finding a boomerang doesn't win the game by itself. Still a good way to get into these servers. You can start getting those random HQ snipes. And I think that Torrent's deck might not have enough eternal points to actually play any of these ambient recursion cards. So Archive is also a place that just could win you the game, or possibly lose the game, depending on what's actually in there.
Yeah, we've seen preemptive action earlier, which is a way to recur some cards from Archives, but not something that does it on paid ability speed. And so you can't recur cards that you have to discard at the end of turn. You don't expect to need to discard with CI, but this employee strike is definitely forcing Torrent to. And now Torrent finally finding Current to play and playing that enhanced login protocol to shut down the employee strike, and for once being able to keep more than 5 cards in hand.
Yeah, sadly, Jai has the second employee strike, and I think that's coming down next turn. Just making sure that Torrent cannot hold any more than 5 cards ever in hand.
I'm expecting second place there to hit as well. We'll see if Torrent finds another enhanced login protocol or another way to recur the current back in hand and play it again. That's another option that all of these HP decks have access to. Looks like we're just playing an
look
ultraviolet clearance.
Yeah, drawing up a bunch, installing one card, having to discard 4 cards again, ending up 11 cards discarded already.
You have to expect there some points to be in archives, but I also don't think you can be hasty in stealing those, because you're still risking a double punitive maybe coming down later. So I think Jai is weighing in on the options here. Touching archives might be enough points to set up a possible win, maybe find the Vacheron or the GFI, the first GFI, but you still need enough credit to survive the crackback, and finding the closer for movement and trashing it before Toron gets access to it and gets access to another current to shut down the employee strike.
Yeah, drawing up, finding rebars. Interesting to see if we see rebars being played and what Jai chooses to turn into. Criminal, I think the faction with the most interesting choices on rebars doesn't have this Omar or something that is basically an insta turn.
I think with enough access to HQ, yeah, Steve makes a lot of sense. Recurring more econ denial could be good. Toron at 22 credits, far from going under, I think. But Jai is very happy to punch HQ as often as possible and get paid some amount of credits thanks to the account siphons they're sitting in the heap right now. So I think Steve makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, account siphon sadly being basically 3 extra credits. Not the best thing, although yeah, playing. Oh, yeah, I thought we were going to get back the enhanced lock-in protocol, but decided to just get YDL up to 29 credits. And scoring is starting to look more and more likely here.
Yeah, Toron knows that symbol thing could just be the next employee strike, so instead of picking up the current that's going to definitely get washed away by the first 2 clicks on Jai's turn, he decides to go for the YDL, plays the YDL for as much money as possible, and I think Toron is setting up either some kind of winning combo, like some way to score points, or setting up a situation where he has enough money to shoot down Jai with double punitive next turn, or the turn where Jai finds some points. But although I think Jai can just sit back and wait a little bit and see what Toron ends up doing, because Toron only has 11 cards in R&D right now.
11 cards, still Toron on 29 credits. If we have the big deal deck actually in play, could be that Toron can just start scoring out.
Big deal would definitely be an option here. Advance in server 1 into big deal is enough to score a Vanity Project, although I would be shocked if Toron was sitting on a Vanity Project in server 1 with just a single ice protecting it.
Yeah, probably would be played out of hand, and it would be at that point by the Kleber advance into the big deal. But Jai can kind of hamper that a decent bit by just sending account siphons in. There's a world where you can start just go tag me and send account siphon, Steve back the second account siphon, and send the other one in also. Yeah, it does look like we're maybe doing that. Would siphon 10 credits in total of Toron's credit pool. Yeah, Steve quotation mark choosing the card to put in back. There's technically a corp choice in there somewhere, but choosing between 2 bad options basically not a choice at all.
Yeah, Steve, especially on JNet where you don't have 2 different altars where you can at least ask the corp to choose between the 2. Definitely showing you 2 very same looking cards, and ooh, there's an enhanced login protocol on top of R&D.
Interesting that we didn't send the second account siphon in here. And not even clearing the tags. Are we? Yeah, clicking for credit, saving this account siphon for future maybe? Boomerang on the MIC, setting up for next turn on something, maybe a account siphon CBI raid play?
That could be the play. It makes absolute sense to slow down the the Corp just a little bit, slow down the play just a little bit, and then probably sending that account siphon after the setup on turn previous. Although this would probably put Jai in a position where he can't get the E-Strike back on, and might open up Torrent to finally get some cards in hand. Despite probably not having enough cards in the deck. Like right now, Torrent doesn't have enough cards in the deck to even go to deck to hand size as is.
Yeah. Interestingly, Torn also just having to result to click for credits last turn. So there are kind of bad implications there. Jai saving the boomerang for the future. Looks pretty solid play.
Boomerang's gonna sit there and be helpful next game, I promise. And playing another.
Is there the CSBI ready in hand that you will send at some point? Preemptive action, shuffling 3 cards back into the deck. Doesn't have this same safety valve as modern spin doctors do, where you actually have to draw the cards as well. Just 3 cards back into the deck. Putting back double preemptive action, double energy login protocol, currents, and a preemptive action, just to get even more cards back into R&D. Kind of prolong the game as much as possible.
Yeah, also a reminder, folks, that pretty action is a terminal operation. Turn undoing the click really quickly to just click for a couple of credits before actually playing the operation. I wonder what the game plan here is for Torrent, because it looks like we're slowing down. We're probably trying to score some agendas, because the dream of double punitive looks as far away as possible. Jai sitting on 25 credits, so much money that your punitive choices would be hardly any threat for the runner.
Yeah, Jai going to be even safer, installing Aron Maron first, deciding to take it back, maybe counting the credit, looking at the credit totals, being like, yeah, this doesn't make sense here. Same old thing for account siphon, really old school line here. Straight from 2014.
Something like that, yeah. Finally using the boomerang, although, to get through the MIC, so more modern cards getting in the mix here. Losing 1 click, but still enough to pay the MIC tax. Had Torrent decided to use it, and then getting a couple of cards back. Looks like we're thinking about the account siphon, and yeah, the same old thing. So you're probably gonna get the account siphon removed here, but you can still install the same old thing and use it next turn to steal away 5 more credits, and setting up it's such a big credit differential that all the punitives are not an option. And now Torrent is not sitting in a great position. He doesn't have enough money to score, and definitely doesn't have enough money to threaten the kill options. And if Jai finds a point.
Yeah, it's super easy to look at the corp credit total here and be like, okay, this account siphon spam doesn't actually end up mattering because Torrent still is staying up on 16 credits. But factually, corp is going to take around 32 credits to score out. So every single account siphon is making Torrent prolong the game so much more. Now Jai decided to go Archives finally. Kesselroyd being broken with paperclip, still just 2 to trash. And double vanity project being found out. Yeah, Torrent had to be discarding all of those. And does look like a pretty clean game from Jai. Just installing employee strikes didn't let Torrent actually do anything.
Yeah, Jai putting on the lock really early, forcing the MIC res on turn 1, and then having access to double account siphon straight from the start, keeping the CI under employee strike and on as low credit as possible. Torrent just not having access to the tools to go off because of the reduced hand size and reduced credit pool. And then I think Jai textbook play on the siphon spam criminal list against CI. What you want to see, I think, from a fairly navigated player in the format. Great games though, well played on both sides for both of these games. Although the first one definitely quicker than the second one.
Yeah, both players ending up splitting, but I think both players still happy to take out the win.
Definitely. Let's take a look at the standings for the end of week 4. As I alluded earlier, we have OF1515 sitting at 18 points, having played all 3 weeks of Phase 1, and with a bye on the first game of Phase 2. We have Toron, Sidro, and Jai, all of them at 15 points, 5 win between like for each of these players. I think all of them without a bye week, although maybe Sidro has played his bye week already, but all of them in very close distance to the first place. Now from Chess on 4 wins, sitting at 12 points, and we have a few players trying to catch up between Ace Empress, Mezzi, Dungeon Mixer, and Augusta Caesar, all sitting at 2 or 1 wins, and with some ground to cover, but definitely eager to jump back in. We are only on week 4. We have 5 more weeks of games to play, so it's still very much anyone's game. Alexu, thank you for helping me commentate. It's been a pleasure having you here. Any last minute shout out?
Go check out the podcasts. There are going to be scoops next Wednesday.
Ooh. You heard it here first? Probably not, but...
Probably not, but still close enough.
Alrighty. In that case, thank you everyone for watching, and we'll see you all next week. Same time, same channel for more Eternal Super League. Bye!